Good evening. Wait a minute. All right. Let me move my keyboard, my computer. Let's play. Wait. Wait a minute. I need to connect my headphones. All right, we're starting again. Actually, no, I don't want to abort. Oh my god, my audio is still not on. Wait a minute. Did you guys hear that? Was that loud for you? That was loud for me. There's only one way to test this.
I do want to address.
Yep, that's working. All right. Have you not watched the trailer? No, I haven't. I was not planning to watch it at all. Because I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch the show anyway, so who needs a trailer? But then, I thought to myself, I could just stream it. You know? Do you know what's in the trailer? I know that the final season of Bad Batch is in the trailer. I don't know anything about it. My friend just said, oh, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, what? Oh, they did the thing. Well, they do the thing and then it, like, traps me? God. Alright, wait, one more. We'll do one more game, alright? That was messed up by the audio. Someone obviously thought the spoil was too big for Blind Wave to see. Oh, they haven't reacted to it? Oh, now I'm concerned. Wait, I don't want a rematch. No. Oh, boy. I just want a new game. Let me think. What could the, Bad Batch... Do I even remember when it takes place? Oh my god, I'm so out of Star Wars at the moment. I remember the ending of the last season, of course, but where does that take place timeline-wise? Well, Tarkin's still alive, so it's before... I guess before Rogue One. Could they go right up to the... up to Rogue One? Could Ezra be in it? Unless my timeline's like way off. I feel like that'd be the most obvious character to put in this, right? Because then you're crossing over with Ahsoka, you're crossing over with what's going to be like the future of live action TV Star Wars. So maybe Ezra? I don't know. Anyway. Heath is dabbing. Thank you, Heath. It's surely like a year or two removed from Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I guess. Well, I don't know. I feel like it'll be a few more years, right? Like, I feel like maybe season 1 is like the first few months after. Oh no, there's a bit of time skip there too, right? Maybe season 1 is like a year, but then I feel like there's a big gap between season 1 and 2, right? Because Omega's like, she's getting better with her weapon and everything, and they're all like a big squad, and they're all friends and everything, you know? I feel like that would take a few years for them to all love Omega and all that. They're still phasing out clones. Yeah, but that could take a while. That could be like 10 years or something. I don't know. Anyway, now we're going to play again. All right, this is my redemption here. Wild opening here. I wonder how many clones there are compared to stormtroopers. Because I remember, I mean, my only context I have is that I remember in like episode 2, they were like, blah 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 million units and blah 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 million on the way or whatever. So it's in the order of the low millions, at least at the beginning of the Clone War. So I would assume it wouldn't go above 1 billion by the end of the war. So I feel like there's probably way more stormtroopers, right? Because I feel like the Empire would conscript them. And there's way more than a few billion people in the galaxy. Oh my god, there I go again. Losing. Jesus, today's not the day. Anyway. Alright, that's that. I haven't even got the trailer up yet. It better be good. Bad Batch. Oh wait, I have a link. Wait. Just so I don't see other spoilers if there's anything. Okay. 2 minutes, we can do this. That is incredibly loud.
Hold on! We've got troopers up top. We're running out of road!
Not exactly a stealth exit, boys.
Let's move!
Oh my god, I just remembered so much of season 2. She was in it. They're on a planet. I like season 2. Alright, anyway.
I thought that the end of the war would mean an end to losing more of our brothers. But I was wrong. We can't just walk away. Not with the Empire imprisoning the kid.
Oh my god, I should have like recapped what happened last season. At the end of it, you've got Omega was taken, right? Oh my god, I definitely should have like recapped it because I truly don't remember. Omega was taken, and she's with the cloning people, and who's her mum or something. And then Echo obviously died, but obviously he's not dead. So, oh, maybe Echo will show up in this. Anyway, let's get back. Crosshair, true.
Secure her in a cell.
This guy.
Omega's been waiting for us a long time. Our mission is not over yet.
Jesus, soon.
There is nothing of greater importance to
Oh my god. He's in it. I can't believe it. Jesus.
Whatever is needed to accomplish this goal, you will have it.
They are coming.
Cad Bane. Oh my god.
You. Give us a real challenge. Everyone down! We're not big on following orders.
I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're making it very tempting.
Is that Ventress? Oh my god, does she have hair? Is that it? Does she have a yellow lightsaber? Wait a minute. Oh my god. That is Ventress, right? When I heard the voice, I'm like, it's either Ventress or it's the Darksider who was responsible for the Sith holocron at the end of season 3 of Rebels, because they sound the same to me. But I assume this is Ventress, right? It looks like her, but with hair. She didn't have hair before. Interesting. Anyway. Forget about Ventress. We got Palpatine in here. That's all I care about. I think the one scene that he was in last season was like the greatest scene of that entire season. I think I chose it as my backdrop for the season. My god. And now there's going to be more of it. I'm so excited. That's all I ever wanted, you know? All I ever want is more Palpatine in Star Wars. He just makes Star Wars so much better. Anyway. Other than that, it didn't look too interesting. I don't know. They're talking about one big final fight, like... what's it going to be, you know? How can it be more climactic than, you know, the destruction of the Death Star? I don't know. We'll see. Is there anything else interesting? There's an alligator. It's not particularly interesting. There was no Zillo Beast. Where's the Zillo Beast? There was like a pyramid, and I'm like, is that Exegol? But like, I don't think so. I mean, I guess it could be, and I just like mistook it. Wait. I mean, I didn't mistake it. Can I even get to it? It's probably something really obvious. I'm not very good with like ships and locations and all that. Where would I even look for it? It's like a pyramid that was split in two. No idea. Anyway, that was okay. I'm excited that it's very soon. Oh no, but it's very soon, but then it's going to come out week by week, isn't it? I'm going to have to wait like 6 months to watch it all. Anyway. So Blazing Out Clones, Bad Batch is mostly boring, to be honest. I enjoy it thoroughly, alright? There's been a lot of good standalone episodes, I think, throughout the Bad Batch. But overall, it's like, in my opinion, it's nowhere near comparable to the later seasons of the Clone Wars, but I still enjoy it a lot. Hemlock is cool. Is that the villain guy at the beginning of this? Hemlock Star Wars. No, it is. Hell yeah. Yeah, true. He was like weird. It's like he had something under his sleeve, you know? Or up his sleeve, as they say. Streaming when I have work tomorrow. Well, luckily it's so early, Kyle, right? And I'm watching the Romanoffs episode. I've never heard of the Romanoffs. The only Romanoff thing I know is Black Widow from the MCU. I've never heard of the Romanoffs TV show. So Ventress dies in Dark Disciple, which takes place during the Clone Wars. They're going to retcon it, so trash. Miller, come on. I don't know if you're being ironic or not. Who cares, alright? They can do whatever they want, alright? As long as they tell an interesting story. My god. What even is Dark Disciple? And unless it's like a Clone Wars episode I forgot about, I feel like it's probably like a book or something, right? They don't care about books, alright? Star Wars is lame. No, Star Wars is great. Tell him, Heath. What is Heath saying? He hasn't said anything. Unless I missed it. All the clones will unite and storm Mount Tantus. Is that where the cloning facility is? As like the big final battle of the clones. Then they'll mostly retire. I feel like I have like maybe a 10% interest in any of the clones' well-being, you know? Like I care about the Bad Batch people. But like the greater good of all the clones that are like retired or whatever, I truly don't care. Alright, I care a little bit, you know? They'll have to do a big job of investing me in the fight of the clones for their worth or something, you know? Star Wars is fine. True. No, Star Wars is actually really good. With the exception of, you know, Ahsoka was okay. Was there anything else recently? I feel like there's been a bit of mid-Star Wars lately, but maybe I'm thinking of the MCU. But we'll get to that, alright? We have a whole tier list for these live-action shows that I need to talk about. God. Anyway. Much One Piece progress, Kyle. One chapter. Hell yeah. They got separated. Monkey D. Luffy is so silly. The Romanoffs is made by the Mad Men guy, but no one's ever watched it. I wonder if it's, like, unpopular because it's bad, maybe? It's 8 episodes, and they're all an hour and a half long and completely unconnected, so it's just like 8 movies he made. That's funny. I'm guessing he made some critically successful thing and the studio's like, you can do whatever you want, and then he made something bad that like no one wanted. Is that what happened? What a weirdo. It's a book based on planned Clone Wars episodes. It's wild how they keep pretending books and comics matter. Perhaps. But the only book I care about is The Revenge of the Sith novelization, the greatest Star Wars book ever made, one of the greatest books of all time. I love the writing. I love the use of symbols, you know. It's great. It's one of my big inspirations of script writing. I love it. It's a living mythology. Shut up, Eric. What does that even mean? It just means that it's as the next generation comes across Star Wars, they will add their new breath of life into it, Miller, all right? I don't think I really care for any extra, like anything beyond the movies and TV shows, right? Like, I guess I haven't really consumed any. I truly haven't consumed anything besides the Revenge of the Sith novelization. So I don't really care. They can erase everything as far as I'm concerned. You must watch at least one Trainwrecks clip compilation in this stream. Probably not. I think we're going to have a very long time with this list here. We'll get to it. Or maybe I'll just do it really quickly. I don't know. No, Mad Men was made by AMC for actual TV, and this is just some Amazon exclusive series. Oh, okay, interesting. And people seem to not like it. It's kind of weird. And here you are watching it. Okay, I'm leaving now. The stream better be good when I watch later. It won't be, Kyle. But I'll be talking about a bunch of TV shows. Anyway, that's the Bad Batch. I got nothing to say about this. Literal chills when I hear Ventress's voice. Interesting. Why do people love Ventress so much? Like, she was cool, but it's not like when you're watching Rebel Season 2 when you hear Vader's breath for the first time, I guess. I don't know. Just when you thought the Bad Batch couldn't get any better. Please, never lose this style of Star Wars. That is true. This style, I do really like it. Can't believe when's that Star Wars, what do they even call it? Tales of the Jedi or whatever? When's season 2 of that coming out? Now that's something I'm interested in. 5 out of 5 last year. One of the greatest things on my list. Yeah, the greatest thing about this is that it's the final season. I truly cannot believe that they had the bravery to say that we're done with this property. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. That's it. No more. It's amazing. I'm very glad. What purpose does Ventress serve in this story, Lamau? It's like the one-off boring episodes with the Wookiee Jedi. Miller, sometimes you say things that just completely baffle me. Like the other day, Miller said something about Chainsaw Man. I'm like, I can't believe. Like, sometimes I just can't believe the things that Miller thinks. And this is one of them. Where it's just like, how could you possibly know what the purpose is going to be until you've seen it? Like, why would you judge whether it's going to be good or bad before you've seen it, Miller? Like, maybe they'll be really creative, and that'll be great. Like, maybe the best thing to happen would be that we expect it's impossible for it to be, for her to have a purpose and for it to be interesting, and then they surprise us and like, wow, that was amazing, Like, before Andor came out, what were you thinking about Andor, Miller? Did you think, who cares about this prequel character to this lame movie who we barely had any characterization for? Who cares about him? We know how he ends. And then we get Andor, everyone loves Andor. How can you have any excitement reading the latest Chainsaw Man chapter? That's not what I got angry about. Not angry, but what was it? You said something. You able to read out this message, Miller? I'll do it. All right. No, I won't. You said something like, oh, okay. You basically implied that not much is happening because Fujimoto doesn't know what to do, basically. It's like, what a Miller statement, right? Anyway. What is his notification? Oh, it's just my stream notification. Okay, so we have an amazing tier list here, all right? Which I had to swap to another website because I just could not be bothered to get 54 images for all these shows. And I just like did this 10 minutes before I started streaming because I was like, oh, that could be interesting. I've always wanted to do this. So I compiled, basically, I went through IMDb, where I've rated all my shows, even though the ratings are not accurate. I just basically did 1 or 10 for everything. I went through and I found every live action show, so not animated and not a kid's show. So not like Drake and Josh or like Hannah Montana or like things like that. This is like live action shows for at least like young adults or like teenagers or whatever. It's not like for kids. So I'm just going to do a tier list because I want to like at least mention the shows that I've seen. Now I have 2 options. I could do this incredibly in detailed, which means this will take multiple streams. Or I could just do like a nice quick like Loki. Season 1, good. Season 2, bad. Stuff like that. I don't know. Bro's going to say S tier, Black Sails, Bebop live action. Oh yeah, I guess that's a thing I can say, by the way. If anyone has seen these shows, apparently, I'll put this link. Apparently you can do it as well. Like, I don't know how this works. It's just some random website I found. Like, I think we all like vote for it or something. Like, I don't know. Oh no, maybe this just shares my results. I don't know. It is what it is, right? We'll figure it out. Anyway. Well, I guess let's just do it. All right, Loki. I should have like organized this by like, can I drag these around? Oh my god, I can. Should I like organize this first by like the MCU shows? No, let's just do it randomly. Okay. Loki was great. Season 1 I really liked. I thought it was very creative. I thought it was a breath of fresh air into this MCU, given a new dimension with time travel and all this cool lore stuff I really liked. Kang was really good. Season 2 I did not like. I think I gave it like a 2 out of 5 on my digest last year. Did I ever review that? I don't even remember. Maybe I said, oh, I'm going to review... Oh, no, I did review that one. I think my thoughts on Loki are pretty clear. I like season 1. I didn't like season 2. It's getting a B tier overall. Okay. Lost. So this is the famous show from the 2000s that I watched in like 2015 or 16 or something. I don't know why I watched it. I think I just saw it on Netflix and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. I've always wanted to watch this. The one thing I'd heard is that the ending is terrible. The ending was not terrible. It was, I guess not just the ending was terrible. The entire last season was pretty terrible. But I like the ending, all right? I didn't have any issue with the actual ending. The highs of Lost are definitely an S tier. I guess I shouldn't really spoil stuff too much, but the lows of Lost are like probably a C tier. So I'll give it an 80. You know, the majority of Lost I really enjoyed. It's a mystery box show. Like, that's what it's. I think this is the show that like popularized the terminology of like a mystery box, because J.J. Abrams like talked about it, or maybe he did something else and I'm just not familiar with it. But I like Lost a lot. A lot of memorable characters. You know, Jack, Kate, Sawyer, John Locke. God, John Locke, what a guy. So many people. Love it. Anyway, Under the Dome. So this is, I was going to say this is an Australian TV show, but it's definitely not. This is the TV show I watched on like free-to-air TV or whatever, I think. Or maybe I watched it online. I don't know. Anyway, this is a long time ago. I watched this in high school. I thought the first episode was so cool because the visual effects were really cool. And a big dome comes over the city and it crushes a cow and splits it in half. And it's like the coolest visual I've seen in my life. And I think on like maybe the first stream I ever did, I like showed that clip because I was like, man, this is so cool. But the show is, again, similar to Lost. It's a mystery box show entirely. I think it's based on a book, which I haven't read and I don't know anything about. But the mysteries are not answered, at least not very satisfactorily. There's some really good stuff, at least from what I remember from like 8 or 9, 10 years ago or whatever. For instance, there was a really creepy scene in season 1 where they're like, oh my god, they have a seizure, these two people, and like these two kids, and then they're talking about how the pink stars are falling in straight lines or something. I'm like, oh my god, this is terrifying. So I like that. But then you get to like season 2, and they like leave the dome, and then there's like some scenes where they're like just in the real world, and I'm like, oh, I guess they kind of got bored of the gimmick of like everyone living in this dome. And then they come back, and then at the end there's like aliens or something, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know what's going on here. I think it felt like they just had not set up the mysteries. They initially, when they set up the mysteries, they didn't have very good answers for them, is kind of what I felt like. So that was disappointing. But there are a lot of good memes in this, like Big Jim or whatever, Hank from Breaking Bad. He was awesome. I loved him. He's like over the top villainous villain who like murders people, even though he's just some random guy. I don't know. I loved it. And then I remember in season 2, in the finale, this is like what made me stop watching the show, I think, at some point. But some guy got struck by lightning and he was indoors or something. And it was the most absurd thing I'd seen in my life. And it was like they clearly just like wanted to write this guy out of the show for some reason. It was weird. I don't know. Anyway. This gets a C tier because there is some stuff I enjoy about this. There are a few shows here, I think, which are going to definitely be D tier. I don't think Under the Dome is one of them, even though it is definitely bad. Gotham. So I've seen season 1 of Gotham, and I've seen like half of season 2 of Gotham, or like a bit more than half. This is a very weird show. It's visually dark. Like the colors used are incredibly dark. That's the first thing I think of when I think of Gotham. It's like, wow, that was like really hard to see things. It was so dark. It is not like any other superhero show that I've seen. I guess it's not really superhero, but like super villains more so. But not even super, they're just like villains. Like Batman is a kid in this. Batgirl, I don't know what she is. There's some girl who's like a famous character in Batman or whatever. She's in this, and she's like a girl as well. So it's like young characters basically at this point. The Joker's in this, who end up being Cal Kestis in that, what was the game called? Fallen Jedi or whatever. Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I wasn't a fan of it. I guess I had a period in my life where I was basically binging a bunch of like superhero shows. Like The Flash, like Arrow, Gotham was one of them. Basically all these shows were like airing at the same time and I was watching them. And I remember enjoying them so much. But there would be points where, because I was binging them, they all came out at the same time basically. I'm sorry, they didn't all come out at the same time. I watched all the season basically in one go, I think, for Gotham. And I remember just like, I only liked it because I was binging it. And there were like entire episodes where I was like bored, but I was like, at least I'm mildly interested in the overarching plot. Let me keep going. Like that's how I would describe Gotham, I guess. Like I don't think anything sticks out to me. I don't think I remember anything specifically from Gotham. I just remember thinking it was dark, it was weird, but I kind of appreciated that it was different from everything else. So I'd probably give it a C tier, like Under the Dome. Anyway, I should probably read like chat while I'm doing this. Heath voted excellent. I can't wait to see these results at the end if that's how that works. All the villains existing 2 decades before Batman has to make it trash by default. Yeah, I don't know anything about Batman lore. It was. I guess I do appreciate like how like I don't. It's not novel because obviously things have done this before. How brave it is to say you're gonna make a Batman show and make Batman a kid and he's not even Batman. Like it's kind of I respect that. All right, because like you're airing the show at the height of like the superhero comics of like the Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. Like all these characters are coming on screen, and you're like, you know what? We're not even gonna put Batman in it. We're just gonna have him as a kid. It's kind of I respect that. Like this feels like it was this had a creative vision behind it. At least that's how I feel. It doesn't feel like the Arrowverse, which feels like it's a very manufactured kind of like there's clearly like an overarching person who's trying to make these all feel cohesive and safe and like tell a grander story or whatever. Gotham just felt like, oh, we got this like guy who's the showrunner of this and we're gonna make a show that we like. So I don't know. Anyway, Moon Knight. These are completely out of order, all these MCU shows. I remember thinking Moon Knight was okay when I watched it. I was like, okay, there's some good things in this. And it is completely forgettable. I hardly remember anything from the show. And I binged it all in one go, so maybe that is also why. Like, I guess we'll see at the end of this. Is there a difference between shows I binged and watched week to week? I don't know. Yeah, it's just so forgettable. Like, and even the climax was like really weird. They went to this other dimension. Oh, the MCU shows have this weird formula where the second last episode, for some reason, will be different from all the other ones. Like, they'll do something special in the second last episode. And for this one, they went to they were like trying to, I don't know if it was they're trying to trick you or not, or if it's just like, they knew that they're not going to trick you, whatever. You go to some mental institution. It's like, is he crazy? Is he not crazy? And then they're in this like desert place. And I'm like, it just felt, I don't know. I didn't like it. But I can't really, it just felt boring and forgettable. That's really what I'd say about Moon Knight. But there were some good scenes, you know? I remember liking the backstory bit where it's like he didn't have a brother or whatever, you know? I don't know. I guess I am kind of spoiling these things. So I guess be warned. If you see me start a show and you're like, I don't want to get spoiled, then you should probably just like pause and then skip like 30 seconds or something. I don't know. Anyway. Moon Knight repeating the conflict of Winter Soldier is so trash. The whole thing of punishing people before they commit a crime. Jesus Christ, I don't even remember that. There was something, right? He had a deal with the big bird guy, and then he would make him do things and he'd forget, but that was because of the mental, the dissociative identity, whatever, which is also, I'm pretty sure, like, at least I think at best, it's like a contested thing, and at worst, or like at most likely case, it's not even real or something. And the show is like trying to frame it as like a real thing. I don't know. Weird. There's weird stuff going on in the show. Anyway. Anyway, next up. Cosmos. So this is that Neil deGrasse Tyson show, which is about space and science and physics or whatever. I guess space, because it says Cosmos. Now, this is another thing where I watched it so long ago, but I do remember liking this a lot. However, I truly don't think it was... I remember when this came out, it was like one of the top 10 TV shows on all time on IMDb, and I thought, wow, this is going to be really good. And I remember just thinking, this is really good. Not like something special, not like it's definitely not S tier. The main thing I remember from... there were two things I remember from this. One was I don't remember what they're called, but they're like these little bears that they're like microscopic little bear things that live in water or whatever, and they can survive in space, and I thought that was really cool. All right, I remember that. The other thing I remember is that they had some animations in some episodes, I think. And just thinking back on it, it's kind of interesting because I've seen, for instance, there's a Veritasium is a channel that makes science videos on YouTube, and he does animation stuff now for some of his like historical storytelling of science related things. And it's interesting to think about how what this show accomplished back, 10, 15 years ago, whatever, people are doing stuff like that now on YouTube channels. So it's kind of cool to see how far like the science education or science entertainment / education has come in like 10 years, so that like small productions can achieve similar things to what Cosmos achieved. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, beyond the bear thing, I don't remember any specific things I learned from this, but I do remember enjoying it. So I'll put it in B tier for now. Yeah. I went to see Neil live. He seems like such a rude person. Oh my God. I know a lot of people hate him, yes, a lot of people hate him. I think a lot of people just think he's obnoxious. I think like he talks too much, or he thinks he's like not that he thinks he's smarter than everyone, but he thinks he always has something to say. Is I think what I've seen people say. And the classic example is like when he's talking to Joe Rogan, and then Joe Rogan can't say anything, and it's just like Neil deGrasse Tyson always like butting in and like saying things, and Joe can't even say a word or whatever. I don't know. He's never bothered me. I always find him interesting. He seems like just some old guy who is passionate about the things he knows and tells people. So I don't know. I guess a lot of people also hate him for his Twitter takes or whatever, where he's like a I am very smart kind of person, like that subreddit. I don't know. I don't have an issue with him, right? Maybe it's because I watched this show and I was like, oh, he's really cool. Anyway. Oh, now we have Fear the Walking Dead, which is completely out of order from The Walking Dead. So this show, all right, this was advertised as the great prequel to the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse of The Walking Dead. And I was incredibly excited because, number one, I like The Walking Dead. We'll get to that when I get to it. But second to that, I always have wanted to see the outbreak of a zombie apocalypse. And thank God, 10 years later or whatever, we got The Last of Us, and that finally has the outbreak done well. Fear the Walking Dead, I thought the whole show was going to be about like the opening few months or weeks or months or whatever of the apocalypse. And it was like, I think it was like the first 2 episodes or maybe the first episode or whatever. It's basically just like The Walking Dead. Like the outbreak has happened. Everyone already knows what's going on. And it's like, damn. So the really early stuff in like episode 1, I really enjoyed, where it's like people don't know what's happening. They're hearing rumors, like they're seeing like some guy get shot on the road and he gets back up, and it's like everyone is watching on their phone and stuff in class, and no one really knows what's happening. And then they have like this thing where they frame it as like people think that the police are out there in riot gear, and people think it's like a protest going on, but what it is like the zombies are actually the people, not protesters. And that was really cool. There's like a lot of really cool horror visuals, I guess, in the first episode or 2. But truly, it turns into The Walking Dead, but like with other characters, and I didn't like that. But of the one season I have seen, it wasn't terrible. Like those first few episodes would definitely be A tier, but after that, I think it's like D tier. So I'll probably put it in C tier. It's bad, but it's not like terrible. Okay, now we have House of the Dragon. So again, out of order from Game of Thrones. This is definitely A tier. With more seasons, it might be S tier. I don't know. For now, it just feels very early in the story. But I enjoyed watching every episode. It's pretty much like, in terms of story and visuals and directing and even visual effects and like music and all that, I think it's all really great. I think maybe I don't know if I'm forgetting something, but I feel like the last episode of the season was my favorite one of the season. I really like that episode. So if the show continues to be grander in scale in the way that last episode was. Oh no, there was also the Viserys speech scene at the dinner. That was really good. There is a lot of really standout things in this season. But yeah, for now it's A tier because I'm interested to see where it goes. Like I really like season 1, but there's a lot of potential for this show to go in either a positive or a negative direction for me. So that goes in A tier. And if you're interested in my thoughts, go check out Kai Entertainment second channel, if you're watching this and you haven't already seen that. Anyway, Sherlock. So this is a BBC production, as far as I'm aware. Showrunner of show ran. What do you even say? Like the showrunner is Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss or Gattis. I actually don't know what it is. And maybe there's another guy. I don't know. I think it's just those two. There's a lot of opinions out there about Sherlock, because Sherlock ran for quite a while. It had 4 seasons, I think. As far as I understand, the common consensus is that season 1 and 2 are like some of the greatest things ever made, and then season 3 and 4 where it went downhill. Then again, there's also people out there who think the show, even right from the beginning, is really bad because it's kind of cringy, and it's like it's an I am very smart kind of show, like Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever that Miller was saying. In my opinion, I haven't seen this again. I'll preface this by saying I haven't seen this in a very long time. Whenever this last season ended, this was like when I lived like 3 houses ago, so I think it's probably been like 7 years or something, right? When was let me look this up. Sherlock finished in 2017, so yeah, it's been around 7 years since it finished. Anyway, with that preface out of the way, I remember really, geez, like, come on, Micah. I remember really liking the show. The directing, I remember being very standout. Like, I remember thinking that every episode kind of felt like a movie, where it was really long. It was an hour and a half long or something, each episode. And it felt really cool directed. It was clever writing, right? I liked the mysteries. I liked the way that Sherlock was written to be really smart and like figure things out by induction or deduction or whatever. That was really cool. There's a lot of standout episodes. There's some of my favorite episodes of all time. Like, what are they? Let me think. So the obvious one is the Reichenbach Fall. That's one of my, at least when I was in high school, that was probably my favorite episode of anything I'd ever seen. I don't know how it would stand up today to like modern Elite Ari preferences. You know, I'd love to rewatch that. What else is there? There's A Scandal in Belgravia, I think it was called. That was really good. The wedding episode, that was really good. I know a lot of people hated it, but the final episode with his, I guess it's not really a spoiler. With actually it is a spoiler. The last episode, which feels like kind of like a game show or whatever, I like that. I know a lot of people hate it. I like it a lot. There's a lot to love in Sherlock. Moriarty is like one of my favorite all-time characters. I think he would probably be easily my top 10 villains of all time. I really like him. Yeah. Sherlock is easily an S tier, I think. At least my memory of Sherlock. Like, maybe it wouldn't stand up if I watched it again today, but my memory of it is definitely an S tier. And right up there in S tier is also Chernobyl. This is a nice docudrama series that in my Oppenheimer review, I basically compared Oppenheimer to Chernobyl the entire time, and I was like, Chernobyl just better in every way, basically. But yeah, this is really cool. It's just like telling it's a dramatized version of the history of the reactor meltdown in Chernobyl in the Soviet Union, I think. It's cool. It's like slow paced, focus on characters, a lot of cool stuff. Like it's very short as well. It's like 6 episodes, I think, or something. Maybe even less. I don't know. It was really good. I like Chernobyl a lot. The Boys. So there's been 3 seasons of The Boys so far. And I think I've enjoyed all of them a lot. I think there's only been one disappointment, which was there was an episode, I think it was called like Herogasm or something. It felt like everyone was hyping this up. When everyone, I mean, like when I say everyone, I mean everyone like on the internet and TikTok and Reddit and all that. They're like, oh my god, Herogasm's coming, it's gonna be so good. Anyway, it wasn't very good at all. The fight felt very like quick or whatever. But other than that one episode that disappointed me, the rest of The Boys I really like a lot. I mean, anything I say here, people are gonna like criticize me because it's like kind of a meme to say or whatever. But it is very subversive. In that. Like the most obvious thing about the show is that the good guys aren't the good guys or whatever. You know, the heroes are actually not villains, but they're like not. I guess they kind of are villains. I don't know. It's a subversive show, and I like it a lot for that. The visual effects look really good. The Homelander as a performance is amazing. Like I could just watch Homelander do anything. It's great. I feel like beyond 3 seasons, maybe we're pushing it now, where I'm like, I don't know if this show can do anything interesting going forward, but I guess we'll see, because I have thoroughly enjoyed the first 3 seasons. Is there anything else to say? I'm not too much of a fan of the way the overarching story is becoming, where it's like the non-heroes, non-superpowered people are taking superpowers to kind of, you know, become at the level of the heroes so they can fight them. I don't know if I'm too interested in that like overarching story, but we'll see where it goes. I think The Boys is an A tier. It'll be between A or B, I would say, but I think there's enough good stuff that I'd give it an A tier. Oh, okay. Now, The Flash. So again, this is back when I was binging all my CW live action TV shows. I saw 2 seasons of this, and by the end of the terrible 2nd season, I thought, I am done with this. I don't need to watch any more of this. I remember loving season 1, because I apparently, based on these ratings, I love mystery shows, right? We got Lost, we got, we have the first 3 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. I guess it's not really a mystery, I don't know. Under the Dome, I love the early stuff for that, but then it gets trash, but whatever. I love mystery stuff. And The Flash season 1 with the Reverse Flash, that was great mystery stuff. I loved it. I was constantly guessing. Who is he? What's going on? It's time travel. I remember the mid-season finale for that was so cool when you finally actually see the Reverse Flash. Oh, great stuff. I remember the visual effects also felt really high quality at the time. But now looking back on it, like the clips I've seen, but I guess in fairness, the only clips I've seen have been beyond what I actually saw. So like season 3 onwards, the VFX look terrible. So I don't know if maybe season 1 and 2 just like looked especially good, and then it got worse, or maybe it just was always that bad and I just didn't notice. But yeah, I remember really liking the VFX in the first 2 seasons. Anyways, that was that. Season 1 was really good. Season 2 introduced Zoom, I think was his name. He's a version of the Flash. He wears a black suit or whatever. The reveal of who he was, which I won't say, you know, is any crazy fans out there. that was kind of a disappointing reveal. It was okay, you know. I like I like the actual episode where we get to see who he is and we get the backstory of it. I don't even remember how that season 2 story with Zoom was resolved, but I remember not liking it, or thinking it was very anticlimactic. But yeah, I don't know. Season 1, very tight season. Season 2, it was good for the majority of it. I liked Zoom as a concept, but I feel like it kind of failed in the wrapping up of that story by the end of the season, so I don't know. I'd give The Flash a B tier. Alright. Okay. Every Flash season I watched got worse. I mean, true, that's the same for me, I guess, because season 1 was the best and season 2 was a little worse, alright? I watched up to 4. It's very brave of you, Miller. It is also funny to think about how all these CW shows have like 20 episodes or whatever, 24 episodes in a season. So I've seen a lot of The Flash. I've seen like almost 50 episodes, I think, or something like that. Some ridiculous number. Yeah, anyway. All right, next one is another superhero. I guess it became a superhero show. It wasn't initially, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I have actually only seen seasons 1 to 6. I have not seen the final season. I'm saving this for the great day where where I'm like, I have nothing else I want to watch. I really, I will sit down and I'll just binge the entire season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm looking forward to that day, but I haven't seen the last season yet. Anyway, this is a great show, all right? I was a hater initially, all right? My friend told me, oh my god, you should watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's good. And I watched the first few episodes. I got to like the halfway point in the season. I'm like, man, this is really bad. I don't know why you want me to watch this. What is this? Oh no, it's just Bacon messaging me. Yeah, so I was like, it's really bad. I don't want to watch this. But then he's like, just stick through it. And I stuck through it. There was a big plot twist with the Winter Soldier stuff. And I was like, okay, this is mildly interesting. I remember basically not liking the show until the finale of season 1 where Nick Fury shows up and you got some cool stuff there and it was really funny and cool and whatever. And I was like, okay, I like that finale. But then basically after that, the show kind of pivots to become a superhero show because you get Inhumans who have they're basically like X-Men, right? Like they got like unique abilities or whatever. And I thought that was really cool. All right. I like that. Generally, like thinking back, I like it. And then from then onwards, like it got really good. Every season basically had a theme, I think. It had like a overarching story that was interesting. I think in like season 4 or 5 or whatever, I think it was season 4, they had like a few like mini arcs throughout the story. I remember those being really fun. Like there was one, I mean, like the highlight of the show to me, from what I remember, was the season where they're in a simulation, basically. That was really cool. Like, yeah, with the life model decoys and all that, there's a lot of really good stuff in S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The only disadvantage is that first season, which I did not like. Is there anything else? No, yeah, I don't know. I really like S.H.I.E.L.D. Is it an S tier? No, I think it's definitely. I don't think it's an S tier. I think it's an A tier because there's a lot of really good shows in this list that S.H.I.E.L.D. is definitely not as good as those shows. But anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. S tier. Now we have She-Hulk. So technically, I've actually only seen every episode of She-Hulk except for the finale. I stopped watching She-Hulk because I did not like it. This is D tier. Because it's a comedy show, and I generally don't like comedy shows. I'm pretty sure I don't like comedy shows. And when I say that, I mean, like, whenever I think of it, I'm like, I don't like comedy shows, but maybe there are some shows here which are comedy, and I really like it, like Rick and Morty or whatever. But anyway, yeah, this was like, it was just not for me. I just did not like the comedy, and the comedy itself isn't like good comedy for me. Like the prime example of why I don't like She-Hulk is when Wong, is that his name? Wong? Wait, the Sorcerer Supreme, Wong MCU. Yeah, when Wong shows up, and it's like a moment where I feel like we're meant to clap or something, and I'm like, what? I don't care about Wong. I don't know, and it was like he was meant to be comedic and stuff. I don't know. I basically didn't like the comedy in the show. Anyway, I need a drink of water. All right, I feel like we're going at a decent pace. All right, you know, there's only 40 shows left. I think I can get this done in like an hour, hopefully. I just want to be done with this. She-Hulk was fun. I enjoyed all the characters, but a lot of the episodes and the season itself felt like they had no resolution. Yeah, that's fair. I did not see the resolution, so I don't know. Actually, I didn't see any episodes with Daredevil. So maybe I didn't, maybe there was more episodes I didn't see. Or was he only in the finale? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Not my type of comedy, all right? That's my disappointment. Next up, we have Squid Game. So this was a, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a famous TV show on Netflix. I'm sure you've probably seen it. This was really cool. It was engaging, you know, every episode I was like, I want to watch the next one. Maybe I binged this in one day. I don't remember. Maybe not. I mean, what can I say about this that you don't already know? The challenges were fun. I feel like it's become so famous at this point that like everyone is already familiar with all the challenges. So like it's become like a part of popular culture, I guess. I don't know. Like I love Squid Game. It was great. It's an A-tier show, definitely. I'm excited for season 2, but also I feel like I don't know how they could make it as good as season 1, but I guess we'll see. Maybe they will. I'm excited. And God, do I love how Netflix just releases everything all at once so I can just binge it. So I'm so excited when that comes out. You didn't see at least the last 2 episodes. Okay, that probably feels like it. I saw the overwhelming majority of the show. It would only be like 1 or 2 that I haven't seen. All right. Jessica Jones. So this is one of the Netflix superhero shows, you know, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Defenders, etc., etc. This has 3 seasons, I think. Let me look at that. I don't even remember what season 2 was. I think I remember 1 and 3. Let me have a look. Jessica Jones. Yeah, it's 3 seasons. Season 1 is I love that. I loved season 1. Now, maybe I need to rewatch it and it wasn't as good as I remember, but to me, like season 1 felt like an S tier show. I really like David Tennant, I don't know what his name was, like the Purple Man or something. I love the power. I love the use of it. I love the story stuff. I like the way the show looked. Really good, season 1. But then there's season 2 and 3, and it feels like a bit weird. Like, I don't really remember. It had more to do with her family and her friend Trish, I think Trish or something like that. It got weird, but I remember everyone really hating it and me not hating it as much as everyone else. Like, I remember thinking it was still really good. So probably I'd give it like an S tier for the first season and then maybe like an A or a B for the next ones. I don't know. I guess the most famous thing from this show, or the thing I still quote all the time, is the Cray Cray song or whatever. Like, her friend is like a famous singer and she was famous for this one song. And it's like, hey, hey, I want your cray cray. Give me your cray cray. You know, I always, that, like, maybe like once a month, I will like sing that song for some reason. So the show lasted with me somehow. So yeah. But S and A and B, let me think. What do I think overall? I think it's an A still. I did still enjoy the last 2 seasons, even if they're not as good as season 1. Like, I enjoyed it quite a lot still. Like, if a season 4 was to come out now, I would still be very excited for it. Like, I feel like the show it didn't get to the point where, like, what's an example of a show? There was some show I talked about. Maybe it's also in A tier. I don't know. Where it got to the, like, there's other shows where it's like you feel like the show has done everything it could possibly do. I guess maybe The Boys is kind of what I'm talking about. Maybe. Jessica Jones feels like it could probably go on a few more, you know. They could do some more stuff if they really wanted. They just need to be less melodramatic, take it less seriously, and I think you could do a good show still. Keep going. All right. Season 2 was so bad, I stopped after that. It was about her mother. Yeah, so I remember one season was about her mother and her family and all that, and it was like revealed that she also had powers or something. But then there was an entire other season. Oh, that's right, the PhD guy. The guy who had like 10 PhDs or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it was okay, right? There was some good stuff. But yeah, nothing got close to season 1. That's a show I would want to rewatch, like the first season at least, because I remember really enjoying that. It had a really cool opening sequence as well. At least I remember it having that. Maybe by this point it's been overdone so many times, like really cool opening sequences, that it's not as good anymore, but I remember loving it when I saw it the first time with the guitar and everything. All right. Oh, this is going to be a difficult one. The Umbrella Academy. So this is, I mean, it's a Netflix show. I guess it's kind of it's not really a superhero show. I'd say it's a comic book show or whatever, adapted for Netflix. It's about a family, like a very tight-knit, but also not very tight-knit. They've grown apart family of people with superpowers. It's a very wacky show. It's a very, it has a distinct vibe to it. Kind of a wacky vibe. It has a lot to do with time travel. There's a lot of really cool characters in this show. I've cried watching this show. It's I I truly, when I started watching this show, I did not think that I would love it as much as I did. I was expecting something more along the lines of a CW kind of drama kind of, or melodramatic kind of show, but it's a very, I truly do like all the characters. And what I enjoy, I guess I can't say that because there's certainly one character in the latest, like the last season, third season or whatever, that I did not like, which is Allison or Alicent or whatever her name was. Allison, I think. That was not good. But every other character I love. Powers are cool. Fives is standout. I love Fives. I love, who else is there? Billy Butcher, whatever his name is in the show. Luther, that's right. Klaus. Like, there's so many really good characters in this. It's definitely an S tier. There's so many things I like in the show. Like, so many scenes. Like, and there's, like, for instance, even in episode 1 has one of my favorite scenes of all time. Like, probably like top 20 or something of all time, which is the family who have all grown apart, who are now back for the funeral of their dad, living in this house that they all grew up in. And you see them all dancing in their own rooms, basically in private. And they're all dancing to the same song that they used to dance to as kids. That's really good stuff. And there's a lot of scenes like that in the show that really stand out. Yeah, I really like the Umbrella Academy. If you're watching it and you haven't seen it and you're like, oh, I don't want to watch it, this is like for teenagers or whatever, go watch it. I really like the Umbrella Academy. Okay. The Rings of Power. So, I mean, this is the Lord of the Rings show that was coming out same time House of the Dragon. It was built up because it was like, it had like a 5 or 6 year like lead up to it where they announced it so long ago and they were like, oh my God, it's going to be $1 billion and it's going to be Amazon's prime entry into their streaming service or whatever. And it's going to sell so much money and it'll make so much money and it's going to be great. And people love Lord of the Rings and they want a TV show about it. It's going to be the Game of Thrones of Lord of the Rings. And, so I was like mildly excited for it. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I only saw the movies like maybe 4 or 5 years ago for the first time. I love the first episode of Rings of Power, or the first 2, whatever. It came out like, I think the first 2 came out at the same time. Whatever it is, when she jumps off the boat at the end and she's like swimming, whatever, I loved everything up to that point. That would easily be S tier. Beyond that, it got a little bit boring, I guess. I didn't like the way the season kind of ended. I guess I like the way the season ended, but when I think of like the orcs that were digging a tunnel or whatever, I just remember thinking this is okay, but it's not like the most interesting thing. I think another major thing, like Jarky Bacon talked about this in a video that he released about Rings of Power, but at one point they go to this city and it's like a really busy city and everything, but it feels very empty because it's like we don't care about any of the characters there. Like there's only like 2 characters that we actually really care about at all. And despite like how many people there are in the scenes and how many people are talking in different like dialogue scenes and everything, it just feels so empty. And that's kind of what I feel about the show overall. Obviously I'm going to have to compare it to House of the Dragon because they both came out at the same time. They're both like medieval fantasy kind of shows. House of the Dragon felt alive. Like it feels like every scene you're in feels important and it feels like there's a lot of characters that you care about. Rings of Power kind of felt a bit empty in that regard. So yeah, I think I'd give it a B. No, is it a C? No, it's a B. I think it's definitely a B. But it'd be like, on the lower end of B is what I'd give it. Okay. Oh, look at this. All the colors are lining up nicely. Anyway, maybe it was like that from the beginning and I just forgot. Oh my God, I just got a Patreon notification. Blind Wave has released their Thursday night shows. Okay. The Punisher. So another, what do you even call this? Another Netflix superhero MC Marvel TV show, whatever. This has 2 seasons, I think. I think it ended on season 2. I really like this. This is one of the better ones. It's definitely A tier. It's more consistently good than Jessica Jones. Like season 1 and 2 of The Punisher, I remember enjoying both of them. I don't particularly remember why I like it so much. I remember thinking it was very violent. It had cool action choreography. I like the performance of the Punisher. I don't remember, John Bernthal or something, I think is the actor's name. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed, I think in season 2, he meets this younger girl and they're like paired together as like a duo where you got like the really tough exterior Punisher guy and the younger girl who he's kind of looking after, but also kind of antagonistic to. I like that season as well quite a lot. So yeah, I like the Punisher a lot. A tier. Then we have a kind of very similar show, The Last of Us, but not very. It's only similar in that there's an older man looking after a younger girl or whatever. This was really good. Again, this is another A tier show. I really like the Outbreak stuff in the beginning of the season. I basically enjoyed the entire season, like traveling different places. I'm someone who hasn't played the game, but I don't even think I haven't seen the story of The Last of Us game either. I just saw every cutscene that was in the actual game. So I had a rough idea of like the general trajectory of where the story's going. But I didn't know the details, and I enjoyed watching the details here. Everything was good in this, I think. Like the pacing felt good. The characters I loved. I think visuals, like the VFX and makeup and all that, that was stellar. It felt to me like a very, it felt like a high budget show, I guess. Whereas things like The Punisher and Jessica Jones, they kind of feel like low budget kind of things. This felt like a very high prestigious kind of show. Yeah, I like this a lot. The only thing that would be a what do you even call it? A downgrade or whatever? A negative thing for this would be maybe the last episode. I remember, I mean, it's purely my fault because the only thing I really truly remembered from the cutscenes that I watched for The Last of Us were the scene where Ellie is drowning. And this whole season, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait till we get to the scene where Ellie's drowning. That was so cool when I watched it. And then they didn't do it. I'm like, damn, okay. Yeah. And I remember when Joel does the stuff he does at the end of the season in the hospital. I don't know, it kind of felt very quick, and I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of like waiting for it to happen, and then it happened. I'm like, okay, I guess that's that. But other than that, I really enjoyed the show. Yeah. And every time we got the backstory stuff with the zombies like happening and like the outbreak happening, that was like 10 out of 10 stuff. I loved that. Yeah. Anyway. Hey Ari, hey Ciclet. Feels like it was made only to make money. Like the game already exists and the cinematic, what's the point? Well, the point is probably for people like, not even people like me, but like people who haven't played the game and will never play the game, I guess, right? Like there's an overwhelming number of people. Like my mom watched it, I think my mom watched it. It's for people like that, I think. That's what I would guess. It was a really good show. Like I think you don't have to know anything about the game to enjoy this show. This feels like a very self-contained show in its own right. And a very engaging one at that. So yeah, I think it has plenty of reason to exist. Like it's a good story. I didn't at any point think, oh wow, this feels like a game as a show, which to me just felt like a show and I really liked it. Okay, House of Cards. So I've put seasons 1 to 5 because that's when Kevin Spacey got fired or whatever. I did watch one episode of season 6 and it was terrible, and I'm like, I'm done with this. But I love this show. The show is basically, it truly is carried by Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood. He's monologuing, seeing the politics and how he maneuvers kind of things. I think it is a show that is basically carried by the actor and the character. And when that actor and character disappears in season 6, it all falls apart entirely. But yeah, it was really good. It's like if you like scheming and politics shows, you'll definitely like House of Cards, at least the first like 5. Well, I also do know that a lot of people fell off. Like they didn't like the show after I think season 2 or something. I did not notice a difference between like season 2 onward or season 3 onwards. So I don't know what people complain about. But I loved the first 5 seasons. Like if season 6 was going to be the final season and it had Kevin Spacey, I think I would have really, really liked the show. But yeah, it was really good. All right. Your mom would be a better person if she spent that time learning to play video games. True. But that's a bigger burden, Miller. I don't think anyone, any of those old people, they're not going to play video games. Until it becomes intuitive, like when they integrate AI and virtual reality, and then anyone can play games with just their mind. I think that'll be a big thing, but up until that point, I don't think we're getting these old people to play video games, all right? Do you think Kevin Spacey deserved to get fired? Well, that would depend on what... it would depend on the evidence that came out, right? Like, I think they did a good job with what they did with... what's his name? Kang the Conqueror or whatever? The Jonathan Majors. I think Disney did a good job there where it's like, there's a trial going on. Let's just wait till the trial is done. And then we can, like, if he gets a guilty verdict, you know, he's out. even if like the evidence, the actual evidence in the trial points whatever way when people interpret it, whatever, just go with what the trial says. It's the easiest way, you know. I don't know. At least that's what I would say. But if there's no trial, like if he wasn't being like pursued in a legal thing, then yeah, do whatever, you know, do whatever the like if there's like some credible report or something, then go for it. I don't know. That's what I would say about it. I don't know. I don't know anything about the Kevin Spacey thing. I have no idea if he. I don't even remember what he got like fired for. I'm assuming it was I think it was some sexual assault thing, right? I don't know. Whatever. Next up, we have WandaVision. So this was the first Marvel MCU TV shows, like the ones they're putting on Disney Plus. This was nice. A nice creative show. Trying to think. Like I was thinking it's not as good as Loki season 1. I liked Loki season 1 more. But overall, it was really good because it didn't have the downsides of Loki season 2. So it's either B or A. What do I put it in? WandaVision. Let me think. Let me before I put it in one of those positions. Let me think what I like about it. I love the first like episode or two when it's like black and white, slowly progressing through the eras of television. That was really creative and cool. It was also really funny. Like I like the it's not funny. When I say funny, I mean they're clearly parodying a type of story. Like they got the black and white sitcoms with the mum and the dad, or not the mum and dad, the husband and the wife or whatever. And they're clearly parodying that. And I enjoyed watching those episodes with Vision and Wanda. And then they get the kids and stuff. That early stuff was really good. Then you get towards the end of the season. I guess I also really like the overarching story of WandaVision, with the mystery of like, what's going on? Why is there this dome over this place, and why are people living in these different realities? I like that that cool framing of the entire show, the overarching story. I liked Agatha. I think that was her name, the witch. Like her story and her interacting with Wanda, I thought was really good. The only thing I don't remember is how it ended. Like I think maybe there was a fight or something, and I think the fight was a bit disappointing. But overall, yes. Now that I'm talking about it more and remembering it, it's definitely A. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was more impressive because it was a TV show at the time. Like it was setting the standard for the MCU storytelling on like a TV scale, and I think it did a really good job. But there have been things after that have been better. Like for instance, Loki season 1. And I don't know if there's anything else, Miss Marvel, of course, but we'll get to that. Yeah. WandaVision was super engaging week to week, would probably be boring on a rewatch, but who cares? Yeah, that's probably true. But I also binged it, all right? I watched it all in one go, so that was great. Wanda fought Agatha, Vision for... Oh, yeah, Vision and White Vision, yeah. Yeah, I'm not too sold on the White Vision thing, I guess. That's now that I'm thinking of it, that was probably the drawback. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think they're getting a season 2, because a lot has happened with Wanda since then. Anyway. All right, now we have a show that perhaps... I feel like it's only Miller here. Maybe Heath is also here. But anyone watching this in the future, you've probably never heard of this. It's called Flash Forward, all right? Or maybe it's a bigger thing that I realized and everyone really knows it. But this was basically I don't know, it's like, was it ABC or something? Like some American thing? I don't know. As far as I understand, this was like you got the same showrunners as Lost, or you got like a few of the people involved in Lost, like the producers or whatever, and they're like, we want to make the next Lost. We want to make a mystery box show that lasts for many seasons and captures and raptures the whole world or whatever. And that's Flash Forward. The premise is that for, I think it's either 137 seconds or 1 minute and 37 seconds or something like that, the whole world blacks out except for one man that you see on TV, and the whole thing is like a mystery of like, how did that man survive? And when people fall unconscious, they see the future basically, and everyone in the whole world who is unconscious, they all see the exact same day in the future. So the whole season is, I'm not going to spoil it because I do recommend watching this. The whole season is basically getting to that point of like, why did everyone see this vision? Are the visions going to come true? Why was there a person alive at that point, like awake at that point when everyone else is asleep? What's going on? So it's a really, really compelling mystery. Now, let me preface this again by saying I watched this in high school. So I was in grade like 11 or 12 or something. So I was like, what, 17 or something? So I truly cannot say if this is still a good show or not. But at the time, this was easily an A tier. I don't think I think this might be the most engaged I've ever been in a mystery show before, like ever in my life. This, however, the major drawback of the show is that it was cancelled after one season. So the mysteries will never be solved. Unless you read the book, because I think it was like based on a book or something. But I think the show was like very different to the book, so it's like not, you don't actually get a satisfaction by reading it or whatever. Or maybe they like wrote a book afterwards of like how the story wraps up or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I love Flash Forward. It's a shame that we'll never get the answers to it. So anyway, next up we have The Defenders. So this is the crossover show of all the Netflix Marvel TV shows. So you had Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and they all, I guess, and Elektra, and maybe other people that I don't remember. They all come together, and they're like basically it's the Avengers of the Netflix universe, basically. And this I was incredibly excited for because okay, firstly, I haven't seen Iron Fist and I haven't seen Luke Cage. However, I have seen Luke Cage in Jessica Jones, so the only character I really haven't seen is Iron Fist. So I was excited because we're getting, all these cool characters I like, which is Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil. It's just going to be the Avengers, and I love the Avengers. So I was really looking forward to this. Now, the problem with this show is that I feel like they don't all meet up until like episode 3 or something. And I think it was only like 4 or 5 episodes or some really short show like that. So the majority of this show was incredibly boring because I'm like, get all these characters together, hurry up. And then when they do get together, the fight, I remember they fought once and it was really lame. And I'm like, damn, what happened? This had so much potential. Yeah. However, it's not a D tier because there at least were some scenes I thought were really cool, which is like, for instance, the first time that Iron Fist punches Luke Cage, and it's kind of like this like immovable object meets this like unstoppable force or whatever, and I thought that was really cool. Elektra. Oh god. Is there any good? I think the actress is really hot. Okay, that's I'm trying to think. Is there any other reason I like Elektra? I don't know. Elektra good, but maybe not for the show reasons. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, it's a C tier, right? I wish it got to the Avengers stuff earlier. Okay, next up, we have Westworld. So this is an AI show, all right? So I love AI. There's multiple seasons of this. I don't even know if the show is done yet. Maybe it wrapped up in season 4 or 5 or whatever, but I don't know. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I watched the first season as it aired week to week. And then the second season I binged many years after it had aired, so you can probably tell where this is going. So just to say it, I like season 1 a lot. Season 2 I did not like as much, but it was okay. There were some episodes. I remember there was this, I think it was a Native American guy, and there was a whole story with him, and he went to like Japan or something, and I thought that was cool. Like it was like that was the highlight of season 2, but the majority of season 2 I thought was kind of a bit boring. Because season 1 was another great mystery box where it's like, what's going on here? Why are these AIs like coming to life and doing things that we're not expecting? And that was all really interesting. I like the way it wrapped up with do I even remember how it wrapped up? Basically, all these humans come to this place and then they all die, and that was really cool. That was like the wrap up of season 1, but I like that. Anthony Hopkins was great, like his performance in it. What else? Dolores, I loved her a lot. What was there that there was something I was about to say. The opening is really cool. I love the music and the visuals for the Westworld opening. Season 1 at least. I don't know. I don't remember the season 2 one. There's definitely something else I was just about to say about Westworld that really stands out. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a B tier. Season 1 is probably A, season 2 is probably B or C, so I'll put it in B tier for now. But yeah. I'm trying to think. There was something I wanted to say. Performances, there were characters in it. AI element was okay. Like the AI element was interesting, at least mildly. Tessa Thompson's in it. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, B. All right, well, Westworld got cancelled. Okay, that's pretty funny. I do know that Aaron Paul gets in the show at some point, like season 3 or 4 or something. So I don't know. I was mildly interested because he was in it. Anyway, season 2 got way too convoluted. Yeah, that's what I remember, and purposely confusing. That is what I remember about it. But I do remember the Native American guy going to Japan and being like, "This is cool." He's in like feudal Japan or something. This is awesome. So yeah. Anyway, all right, another drink break. Oh boy, I think we're almost halfway. But you know what? I think I'm doing okay. I think speed-wise, hopefully this won't be too much longer. Because hopefully all the difficult stuff to talk about has happened already. Now we have Scorpion. So this has a few seasons, but I only watched season 1. I have no idea why I watched this, okay? I cannot tell you for the life of me. This is a show where there's a bunch of really high IQ people. And I don't mean that in like a joking way. I mean, that's the premise of the show. These people have high IQs and they are proud of it. And they're basically a team of people who the FBI or something like tells them to go solve mysteries or like do things, basically. I don't know. It's like they're basically a consulting group of high IQ people. And I cannot tell you, okay, basically I'm going to rate the show based on the vibe in my mind. Because I hardly remember anything, but I remember this being terrible, like dialogue bad. I remember story, like the actual writing of like episodes, like the, not the writing of episodes, the overarching like story being bad. I remember the mysteries being solved very poorly. However, and it was also cringy because it's like these high IQ, I am very smart people. I remember there was bad science in this as well. There's a lot of those tropey things where it's like the smart guy says something really easy to understand, but then all the people are like, oh, could you say that in plain English or whatever? Like that kind of stuff. By all markers, this is a terrible show. However, it is so bad that it kind of becomes a parody of itself in that it becomes kind of good. So I would probably put this in C tier because there was a lot to enjoy about how terrible it was. Like, it's not boring. It was kind of fun because of how terrible it was, is what I would say. So, yeah. And, yeah, I only watched season 1, so who knows? Maybe it gets really good after that. Anyway. Now we have Doctor Who. This is S tier. I've probably talked about this to death. It's great. Every season feels different. There's always a bunch of overarching things. There's a bunch of doctors. There are too many characters to name. Some of my favorite episodes of all time. You got different showrunners with different takes on the story. It's really cool. It feels fresh all the time. I love it. S tier. Not much more to say. Now, there's Mr. Robot. So I've only seen season 1, and I loved season 1. So that's an A tier. This was really interesting when it came out. I watched this week to week, and maybe it's because I didn't watch too many TV shows at the time. Like, I was still young, whatever, like 17 or 18 or something when I watched this. But similar to Sherlock, even more so than Sherlock, this felt like you were watching like a movie level stuff on TV. Now, I don't know why I have that impression. I don't remember anything that particularly stands out, but I remember the directing feeling very prestigious and not like a TV show. Like, it felt like they had really cool like camera angles and stuff, and I don't know, there was so much really, it felt ambitious in season 1. Another thing I remember about the show is that it felt very accurate for tech people. Like a lot of the computer science stuff and programming and like understanding of technology and hacking and all that felt very authentic. Now, I don't know if it truly is authentic. There's only some stuff that I know in my computer science background, so I don't know everything about computer science, but to me, it felt very authentic. So I loved it for that. It was also a mystery focused show as well, with like some elements of, I think they call this like a dementia or psychological show, where it's like there's something going on with the psychology of the characters, where it's like what is reality and what isn't. I really like that element. I really like this show. The only reason I think I stopped is that I just like got busy, where I think I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes from the next season, but it had been a while since I watched season 1, and it is like a very, very, you need to pay attention to the details kind of show. So by the time I got to season 2, I was like, oh, do I remember season 1 well enough? And I kind of stopped watching, but I have every intention to rewatch this show. One day I will. Like, I've heard of a Blind Wave to react to this, because I'm like, if they react to it, then it'll motivate me to watch it. I really want to finish the show. Like, I've heard nothing but good things about the next few seasons of the show, and the ending of the show I heard is really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right. Literally, how is Doctor Who S tier? You had to drop it and pick it up years later. Well, that's only like, 3 seasons of the show out of a, 14-season show? The overwhelming majority of the show is one of my favorite things of all time. It's absolutely an S tier. Yeah, like, there's probably more good episodes in Doctor Who than any other show that I've ever seen. Just because of how long Doctor Who is and how consistently good it is. It is absolutely an S tier show. All right. End of the... Now, they always... I don't know how you're meant to pronounce this, because as far as I know, it always has these stars, like F *** ing. So I don't know if you're meant to say end of the effing world or end of the fucking world. I don't know. So I'm just going to say end of the effing world. But this show is... There's 2 seasons, I think, because I remember watching them each and being excited for the next season when it came out. I think this is like a show where one of the characters is kind of like a psychopath and the other one like wants to be a psychopath, and then the reveal is that they're like opposites, whatever. I don't know. It's basically carried by two main characters, like a girl and a boy. It's a British show, I think, so it has like British kind of humor to it, which kind of vibes with my kind of humor, so I liked it in that regard. I don't remember. I think this is a prime candidate again for rewatching because I remember loving it a lot, but I don't remember the details at all. So to me, it's like an A or a B. I think I'll put it in B just because I don't remember too much of the details, but I do remember enjoying this quite a lot, both seasons. Yeah. Anyway. Even the other seasons have so many trash episodes. It's good like 60% of the time. Well, for anyone who is interested in my thoughts on Doctor Who, go watch the first ever video on Ordinary Ari. Go right to the beginning of my channel and look at my Doctor Who tier list, and then you can see how many episodes are, say, B tier and above. And I feel there's a lot of episodes that are at least B tier. More than 60%, I feel like. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, another drink. Jesus, my voice is going. When I record my digest, I have to cut this stuff out. Okay. Now, we've already talked about Fear the Walking Dead. Now we have The Walking Dead. So I watched 8 seasons of this show, and I stuck through it way longer than I should have. Now, in fairness, I also did watch the last episode of the final season of this show, because I was like, you know what? I've been watching seasons 9 to 10 or whatever through Blind Wave. I have a gist of like what's going on. Let me just like watch the last episode. And I did, and it was pretty bad, but you know what? At least it ended, you know? The show got the ending it deserved. So The Walking Dead, the first 6 seasons are really good. Like A tier, obviously, for me. I know basically The Walking Dead is a show where like I think at most people, like the overwhelming majority of people would probably say this was a very good show, but they will all have different points at which the show fell off. I imagine there's a lot of people who fell off after season 1, because there was a showrunner change between season 1 and 2, and there's a whole drama there, and the tone of the show shifted, and it got very slow paced. There's probably a lot of people who fell off there. There's probably also a lot of people who fell off at the end of season 2, because then there was another change in the show where they leave the farm and now they're going on this journey, and it kind of feels like season 3 and 4. There's the governor and there's that whole storyline. So there's probably people who fell off at season 1 and then season 2, and then probably at the end of the governor storyline, they probably fell off again because they're like, oh, now the show is changing to something else afterwards, which is like when they found the Terminus place and they were basically wandering strangers for a while. And then they find the Alexandria place, and they basically have a permanent location from then onwards, and they're kind of rebuilding civilization from then. Probably people fell off at some point there. For me, I think I fell off. How can I say this? I love season 1. I love season 2. I love season 3. I love season 4. I love season 5. I love season 6. I think Negan. Basically, when Negan came into the story, it was actually some of my favorite stuff in all of The Walking Dead. Like his introductory episode is one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead, where he kills everyone. And then you get the next opening season where it's like, what is Rick gonna do now? And he's like kind of defeated and crushed. After that, the show completely fell off for me. It felt kind of dumb. The resolution to like how we're gonna fight Negan and all that felt very, very easy. Like it didn't feel like much of a challenge. I don't know. I basically fell off with The Walking Dead after Negan was introduced. Like that was like the highlight of the show is when he got introduced, and then like it's really sudden drop off is what I would say. So I don't know. Anyway, this is also a show where I'd like to rewatch season 1, because a lot of people say that season 1 is like one of the best seasons of anything ever, and I don't remember too much of it, so I'd be interested in rewatching that. But overall, it's a B tier, right? There's a lot of bad. Like although I really liked the first like 7 seasons or whatever, there's a lot of low points as well. This is a show, again, I binged. I think I binged the first 4 seasons, and then I watched the rest of the seasons week to week. So I think the binging probably got me through the otherwise boring episodes that I probably would have stopped at. So yeah, it's a B tier. Oh boy, so many shows in this. I can't believe this. This is like a thing I should have said I'll do over 2 streams, you know? God, what time is it? All right, it's only been an hour and 20 minutes in this stream. Okay. All right, next up, Breaking Bad. It's an S tier. What can I say? It's one of my favorite shows. what could I possibly say? Like, there's so many cool scenes in the show. Like, Gus is amazing. The storyline with Gus, the constant ramping up of tension in the final season is amazing. One of the most I don't know what the word for this is, but like everything feels like it gets wrapped up by the end of the story. Like it all ties up in a nice neat bow and it feels great. Those last 3 episodes are probably like some of the greatest episodes ever put to television. Ozymandias, I remember just being so anxious watching that episode and be like, what's going to happen here? I love that. Granite State, such a cool, different tone for the show. Like a very solitude kind of, you get Walter White like all by himself. Like that was really cool. And then Felina, that was, it felt like a really good, well-deserved wrap up to this grand story. Yeah, it's great from beginning to end. This is also a show I think I would rewatch again very soon because I thoroughly enjoyed this. Yeah. Then, Daredevil. So, this is a show with, I think, 3 seasons, then it got cancelled, and apparently it's coming back, but it's going to be a different showrunner, so I don't know, or a different, like, universe entirely or something. I don't know. I love the show. When this initially came out many years ago, it became famous because it was like the first superhero show on television that was actually R-rated or whatever. Like there was blood and it was like dark and everything. It was crazy like that. So that got me in, and I was like, oh, I'm mildly interested in this, and I really liked it. You know, this show spawned 2 characters that everyone these days is like thirsting for in Daredevil and Fisk. And this is where they started, you know, so they were great in this. Let me think. Season 2, I think, got a little bit crazier. It had some ninjas coming in, and that wasn't the best, but still the action in the show and the just the tone of it, like the dark kind of... it's not even dark. Like, whatever the tone of Daredevil is, however you described it, it stayed consistent throughout the entire show, and I liked it. Season 3 I thought was really great. You introduced, I don't remember what his name was, like Bullseye or something. This guy who can like throw anything and hit it dead on. He was a good antagonist for Daredevil. I guess also season 2 had the Punisher. The Punisher was introduced in the show, which was really great. Yeah, that season, actually, now that I think about it, forgetting the ninja stuff in season 2 that I didn't like, the Punisher stuff in season 2 was really good. Like Daredevil versus the Punisher, basically, and the Punisher like speech at the jury, where it's like, "I'm not crazy," and I'd kill him again or whatever. Like that was really good. But yeah, season 3. God, I just saw Miller's. Oh, lucky I read this right. Miller said, "Only watched the first 2 seasons. Is season 3 worth watching almost a decade later?" If you really liked season 1 and 2, then I would say absolutely. Season 3 it might be my favorite. I really liked the Bullseye guy. He was really cool. But I was going to say my favorite thing about, I'm not going to say what it is now, you know, because I don't want to spoil it for Miller just in case. But basically, there's a big fight in season 3 between Daredevil and I guess that's a spoiler. You know what, Miller? I'm going to spoil it. All right. So if you just skip like 10 seconds, all right. Well, maybe this will motivate you to watch. It probably won't. But all right. Basically, at the end of season 3, Daredevil fights Fisk for the last time because obviously the show got cancelled. I really, really love the performance of when he is punching Fisk at the end, and Fisk is basically on his knees and he's saying that I don't know what it is. He basically is screaming and is like, "This city rejected you," or "This city beat you," and then he's like, "I beat you," and he's like screaming, and it feels very climactic. And the performance there was really good. Like when I think of Daredevil, that scene is basically what I think of these days. Just because the performance of like how much that Matt has kind of suffered by this point, like how much blood he's kind of spilled for this is because of damn Fisk, and he's like yelling, he's yelling in his face at that point about how he beat him. That was good stuff. Anyway, yeah, Daredevil is either A or S. It's been too long since I've seen it. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting it in S tier, but I remember enjoying it a lot. It'll be up there with Jessica Jones season 1, I think. Like I really like Daredevil. And it really did end on a high, which is kind of interesting. Kind of good for it, I guess, in a way. Like there was the only thing I didn't really like with the ninja stuff, but now that I remember season 2 with all the Punisher stuff, it absolutely was really good. Anyway, next up, Broadchurch. So this is what was his name? Chris Chibnall or whatever? Basically, the terrible seasons of Doctor Who that I stopped watching with Jodie Whittaker. the showrunner for that seasons of Doctor Who wrote one of the greatest shows that I've ever seen in my life, Broadchurch, which is about, this is again another mystery show, a murder mystery, where the first episode opens with this kid dying basically, and the whole first season is about figuring out how did this kid die, like who killed him. And you're basically, it's a character dive into all of these different characters in this very small town, and it's kind of like, you don't know who killed him. And it's kind of like every character kind of gets framed as though they were the one who killed it, and it's kind of like you get a deep dive into who these characters are, and you kind of trying to figure out who it was, and you kind of get the reveal at the end. Now I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it because I absolutely recommend Broadchurch. Now the interesting thing, I'm not gonna, it's kind of a spoiler, so if you want to know nothing about it, then probably skip after this. But season 2 of this show is the trial for the murderer. So you find out who the murderer is in season 1. It's not much of a spoiler because it's like, obviously we're going to get the resolution of the mystery, but you get the trial for the murderer, and that's season 2. And it's a very different tone than season 1, but I still liked it a lot. I know that in the fandom, there's like a big division. Like, I don't think people think season 2 is as good as season 1. I think it's very close. Like, I still really enjoyed season 2 purely because it is a very deep character dive. Like, it's still all about this show is basically just all about characters. That's all it is. I guess I also haven't mentioned the 2 leads of the show are amazing. You have David Tennant, which obviously is David Tennant. You know, he's great in everything he's ever been in. And what's her name? Olivia Colman? Is that her name? Wait, let's check. Olivia Colman. Yeah, Olivia Colman, who I think she's like the actual main character of the show. She's really good in this. And I'm sure she's been in other things. I think she's like Queen Elizabeth in The Crown or something. I haven't seen that. But yeah, she's great. They're both great. The show is basically carried by all the characters in the show. They're also great. And the season 2, I'm not going to say what happens, but it has a bit of subversion in it as well. So I thought that was really cool. Broadchurch is really good. Now the question is, S tier or A tier? I think it's one of those cases where season 1 again is an S tier. Season 2 is probably an A tier. So I'd probably give it an A tier, but like very high A tier. Broadchurch was really, really good. Okay. Bro, you gotta watch Echo. Daredevil is in it so much. Is Echo actually good? I heard that it was bad, but like, people on the internet are very dumb, Miller, right? I only trust you, Miller. You tell me if it's good or not. All right. Jesus Christ. At least we're more than halfway now, okay? I'm losing my voice, truly. I haven't talked this long since like, since I think not even since the digest, because I recorded that in like 10 parts. Jesus. Daredevil has one scene. It was bad. Oh boy. Okay. I thought you meant he's actually in it a lot. Oh boy. Okay. Hey, they're saving Daredevil for his show appearance when he gets his own show. Oh, I need more water. Oh my god, thank you, Miller. You saved me. Let me start again then. All right, we got Mandalorian. What was I saying? Oh my god, I love the Mandalorian. It's great. Season 1 is S tier. Season 2 is also S tier. And then season 3 is like a B or a C or something. But if you want to know, go look at my digest. I talked about season 3 a lot. I don't like anything about the Mandalorians in season 3, but anyway, season 1 was really great. It was the first time Star Wars was on TV, like live action Star Wars, and it felt really cool. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're putting this like production value into such a show. You know, it was probably the highest quality VFX and everything that I'd seen in a show up to that point. Now obviously since then it's been eclipsed by a million things, but back then it was really great. Like when I think of the Mandalorian, the thing I think of is, or at least when I think of the spirit of the Mandalorian, what I think of is I think second or third, or maybe the first or second episode of season 1, where it's like the Mandalorian is climbing a what do you even call it? A sandcrawler, a Jawa sandcrawler. And it's like one of those things where it's like you've always imagined, like, or at least I'd always imagined like these things that you'd see on Tatooine, where it's like, what do the Jawas do like in their spare time? Like, how do they interact with people? Stuff like that. And we just got to see it. It's like a nice self-contained kind of action piece where he's climbing a sandcrawler. I'm like, man, that's so cool. In season 1 and a little bit of season 2 had stuff like that. Most of season 1 though had like really small scale kind of cool stuff like that. Yeah. Season 2 I really liked for the God, there's so much. Like, obviously you had Ahsoka in that. The Ahsoka episode was really cool, even if she didn't really like. Actually, I was gonna say, even though she didn't really look like Ahsoka, I guess she did look like her. I think it's just the what do you even call it? The hair was like too short or whatever. But other than that, it was really good, really cool episode. It has one of my favorite Star Wars fights of all time, which is at the end with the Magistrate, where she's like fighting with the white lightsaber and the Beskar spear. That was so cool. And even just the color grading of that whole episode was so cool. And obviously the season ends like it's a big Grogu and Mandalorian moment where they're like crying about it or whatever. That was really cool. Then season 3 is a bit downhill, but I like those. I love those first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, season 1 and 2. But season 3 is bad enough that it might be a B tier. I think for now it will be an A tier. If we get another season of this show, I will probably move down quite a bit. But for now, I think it's still, the majority of the show is really good. Even in season 3, there were some really good episodes. I just was not a fan of the actual Mandalorian storyline in season 3. But I'll put it in A tier. All right. Thoughts on Mando movie instead of season 4? I think I'm done with the Mandalorian show, like I just hinted at, I guess. I don't think we need any more seasons. I think it's done. Or if they did a season 4, they should just do like standalone episodes, like the one on that Doctor Who planet or whatever, the Clone Wars planet, with Jack Black or whatever. That was really cool. They should do stuff like that. But if they're doing a movie instead, I'm like, okay, it's been a while since I've seen a Star Wars movie. I guess I'm game for anything at this point. So I don't know. It can't be worse than doing a season 4, so I'm mildly interested in a movie at least. Thoughts on This Is England? That's actually a movie, Ciclet, right? I haven't seen it yet. This is all live action TV shows. Anyway. So that's The Mandalorian. Now, we have Fargo, season 1. So this is a show where it's an anthology series where every season, as far as I understand, every season is a different story, and I've only seen the first season. However, I have heard that all the other seasons are also really good. But yeah, season 1 is about Lester? I can't believe after all these, like, it's probably been a decade or so since I've seen the show. I can't believe I remembered his name. But Lester, I'm pretty sure it's Lester, kills his wife with a hammer in one of the most disturbing, like, out of nowhere scenes. I couldn't believe I just watched it. And the show, the whole season is basically about, like, what does he do to kind of cover up that he did that? And he gets associated with this other guy who's like an assassin kind of guy. And it was just a fun, not fun. I guess it is fun, but like it's not a fun vibe of a show. It was just fun to watch. It's like a crime. It's not even, when I say crime, it probably gives you some weird impression. It's not really a crime thing. It's like you're following Lester, who's this like meek kind of nervous guy who committed a murder and now he has to kind of cover it up. And it's kind of like he's living his life, but he's like also kind of trying to cover up what he did. And it's like, there's a lot of tension, but it's a lot of like, because he's like a goofy, not goofy, because it's like a meek kind of guy. It's also kind of funny, I guess. I don't know. Season 1 was really good. Like it's easily an A tier. I don't think it's near an S tier, but it's definitely an A tier. I really remember enjoying this a lot. Thoughts on This Is England? Read that. There are 3 seasons of This Is England. I thought you told me it was a movie. I was gonna watch the This Is England movie, Sickler. What are you talking about? Am I trying to watch the wrong thing? Jesus. Does Black Sails get less shit after episode 1? Well, Sicklet. Is there a thing that everyone who has seen Black Sails says, which is that after you have seen episode 1 of Black Sails, you have seen the worst episode of Black Sails, because every episode after that gets better. The show just gets better and better. But yeah, for me, for Black Sails, we'll get to it, all right? But yeah, episode 1 It does get better. Don't worry. But also, if you don't like it after the first few episodes, you're not going to like the show. But yeah, anyway. All right. Next up, we have Black Mirror. So this is a anthology series where every episode is different. It's a sci-fi series. This is SC. What am I saying, right? It's a sci-fi series where truly the only real link is that it's just sci-fi. It used to be that it's about like technology and the bad elements of it or something, but at this point it's just like a sci-fi anthology series. I love the show. It's great. I think the overwhelming majority of these episodes are like 4 out of 5 or maybe 5 out of 5. There's a few that are bad. Like, and when I say bad, I mean like maybe 2 or 3. There's none that are like really, really bad. But the overwhelming majority of the show is really good. Like there's so many of these episodes that are also like some of my favorite episodes of all time. Like Metalhead, I've rewatched that so many times. White Bear, it's really cool. Oh god, there's so many. Like the werewolf episode from the latest season was so cool. Trying to think of like throughout all the seasons, like what are some ones in the later seasons? Jesus. Oh, I was gonna do a tier list, but I shouldn't. There's so many. Basically, just trust me, right? There's so many really good episodes in this TV show. But Black Mirror is great. All right. There is a movie. Then there is This Is England 86. This is England 88, and This is England 90. Jesus. You only have to watch the movie for now because it's the beginning chronologically. Okay. Self-contained story. Don't worry. Okay, good. I love movies. All right. 18 shows left. Okay, we're almost there. And then I can rest my voice. Jesus. Oh, I'm gonna stretch my jaw. Next up, One Piece live action. So I have a whole video talking about this. You know, if somehow you haven't seen that yet, go watch it. It's on Ordinary Ari. This is a B tier show. A lot of good stuff. Nothing too amazing, but it was just fun. It was a fun show. Yeah, similar to Rings of Power, I'd say. They're both fun shows. Fun adaptations of things, apparently, even though Rings of Power isn't really an adaptation. The Book of Boba Fett, the good stuff in this is I liked when he was with what's the non-offensive term for them? The Tusken Raiders, there we go. Because what's the other people? The Sand People or whatever? Isn't that like a we don't like that term, right? Bad term. But yeah, he's with the Tusken Raiders, and that stuff was great when he's dancing around the fire and it's like feeling like he's in this new family or whatever. That was cool. The latter half of the season, like what I think of basically when I think of the bad side of Book of Boba Fett, it's the final episode where I'm like, it's like so goofy and they're like fighting this thing and it's like so boring as well. I'm like, oh great, why are they like? There's no stakes, and I did not like the final episode. But other than that, it was a decent show. Like I enjoyed it. Interestingly enough, I guess everyone says this, but the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett is basically an episode of The Mandalorian. Like you follow The Mandalorian, you don't even see Boba Fett in it, or maybe you get him in like one scene or something. This is where Luke Skywalker, the like deep fake version of him, was in it. Coolest thing ever. Book of Boba Fett is a B tier. Nice and short. I probably wouldn't want another season, but if it came out, I'd probably watch it. But I do not need one at all. Okay. First 2 or 3 Book of Boba Fett episodes were good. Then the show stopped being about him. What was the point if half the show wasn't about the main character? Yeah, well, yeah, I agree, except the part where he wasn't in it was the best part of the show. So I don't know, like that one episode. But I agree. I really like those first 3 episodes with the Tusken Raiders. The episode with Grogu and Luke was so terrible. Nope, disagree. Best episode of the season. God, it was so magical, Miller, when I saw Luke for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Anyway. Now, we have the Cowboy Bebop live action show. So this is Cowboy Bebop, if you're not familiar, it's an anime, a very renowned anime that a lot of pretentious people say is their favorite anime of all time because it's like really well animated and it's like 2D animated. It's got like music and all that. You know, people say that. And they're like, this is the greatest, the classic is the greatest anime of all time. They're all wrong, all right? Cowboy Bebop is a good anime. I liked it. You know what? I'd even say it was a really good anime. The live action is a really, really, really good show. Okay, I love the show a lot. I wouldn't really compare it to the actual original, the original anime at all. It's a ensemble show carried by the three main characters in Spike, Faye, and Jet. When I think of this show, I think of the distinct episodes, I guess. Like, I remember the one from... I think the worst episode... There's no question. The worst episode of the show is the first episode, where I'm kind of like... To me, it feels like they too closely tried to match what happens in, like, the first episode of the actual anime. And I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, this is just, like, a worse version of what I remember from the anime. But after episode 1, the show goes its own direction. And it does, at least from what I remember, it feels like it doesn't adapt things one-to-one. It tries to do its own thing, like loosely kind of referencing the actual events of the show. Like, there's an episode about eco-terrorists in Cowboy Bebop, and I remember that pretty well, like, from the anime. There's also an episode about eco-terrorists in this, but it's, like, completely different, at least from what I remember. Like, they go on... like, I remember they basically end up on this planet, which I don't remember in the anime at all. Maybe it is like that, and I'm just not remembering, but... yeah, it was really cool. I guess I just kind of appreciate the show for what it is, rather than being like an adaptation or something. I think it holds up on its own, basically. Yeah, and I cried at a few points, right? So it got to me emotionally, is what I would say. But yeah, I guess the thing is that it feels like it has its own identity, and it feels like it has a vibe and an identity that I really like. Yeah. So this is a A-tier show, definitely. Yeah, I wish it got a season 2 as well, but you know, it got cancelled, and ever since it got cancelled, I have truly hated anyone who hates live action shows, because it's because of them that it got cancelled, so I don't like him anymore. Anyway. Luke and Ahsoka talking to each other with no charisma? Kill me. True. And yet, I bet you like episodes 4, 5, and 6 with their charisma-devoid acting performances. You probably think it's some of the best performances of all time, don't you? Good old first 3 trilogy episodes of Star Wars. Ugh, God. All right. Well, I guess I should also say that I should rewatch this live action thing. Like, this is another candidate with Breaking Bad and Jessica Jones or whatever, where I'm like, I want to see, like, is it really as good as I remember? Or was it not really? Like, has it just become more, have I regarded it higher with time? So time and distance, you know, we'll see. Anime 7 out of 10, live action 1 out of 10. That is, I guess I didn't mention, but that is the general sentiment. Well, not really. The general sentiment is anime 10 out of 10, live action 1 out of 10. But yeah, anyway. Every episode adapts an anime episode. Like, who wants to see the Pierre LeFou fight with the without the cool animation? I do. I want to see it, Miller. It was really cool. And I also think the Pierre LeFou episode is the best episode of the anime. So I also like the adaptation. Blackmail. Yeah, true. I remember Cichlid brought this up a while ago and I didn't remember it, and then I watched the scene. This is the scene he's referencing.
Me, you, Badlakiani. 2 bottles if we're feeling dangerous.
Sounds to me like blackmail.
You're damn right it is, because Jet, you are black and you are male.
So yeah, I don't know if like Cichlid likes this or not. To me, this is like the show's identity. It's goofy. It's like Jet is a comedic character a lot of the time. So to have a scene like this where it's like obviously it's a bad joke or whatever, I think that it fits the tone. It fits. Like, I know exactly how Jet is like gonna react to this. You know, it's great. Scenes like this are what make the show so good. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Cichlid's being ironic about this or if he actually likes it. I don't know, but I thought it was really good. Blackmail, yes, Cichlid. You think there is more charisma in the prequels than the original trilogy? You're insane. Absolutely, yeah. They bicker so much, it's great. Oh, okay, true. I forget how much you like bickering, Miller. Yeah, but also the acting is from the 70s, so it's bad. That's true. See, Cichlid gets it. How did you keep a straight face watching that? Stop lying. I'm not lying. It's great. Like, I don't know, I do feel insane when I talk about Cowboy Bebop live action, because I like it a lot. Like, I think I need to rewatch it just so I can like justify why I like it so much better. But I do like it a lot. And it is like, it's the tone of the show. The tone is so good. Like, that scene is like a great example of the tone of the show. Anyway. I remember not being able to get past the first 15 minutes of Empire Strikes Back because Han Solo and Leia were arguing for no reason and it was bad. Okay, let's not get crazy sickly, right? I'm just messing with Miller. I do think there is obviously less charisma, in those first, that original trilogy, but I do like the original trilogy, right? I love Empire Strikes Back. It's great. I like the bickering scenes with Han and Leia. It's awesome. Anyway. Okay. 15 shows to go. We have Arrow. So this is a CW TV series. I think it was the first one. It's the first one I ever saw. So it's about a guy who gets lost on an island, or gets he's on a boat and the boat sinks and he gets shipped to an island or something. He falls and gets on an island, and then he becomes a really crazy superhero and trains with what was his name? Death Mask, Deathstroke. That's right, Deathstroke. And yeah, basically he becomes a superhero. He goes back to his house and he's a different man now. He's a changed man. And the show is basically a bunch of fight scenes stringed together with an overarching plot. Now, I loved season 1 and 2 of Arrow. Now, I don't know if I could tell. No, actually, I also like season 3 of Arrow. I like the first 3 seasons of Arrow a lot. I don't know why. When I think back on it, I don't know. What I think is oh my god, it was so melodramatic, and there was artificial drama that they would create because people would they wouldn't say things when they should say things, and they were holding secrets when they shouldn't. But I remember liking it so much, watching it week to week, not week to week, but watching it episode to episode. Because I watched it I binged the first 2 seasons, I think. Then I watched week to week afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just enjoyed it. It was a fun action show. I think it was one of the first actual action shows I'd seen, so maybe that's why. Where action was the focus, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. So yeah, seasons 1 and 2. I think season 1 was basically, I don't know, I don't even remember if there was an overarching storyline, but that was the introduction to the show. Season 2 was when Deathstroke is kind of the villain, and at the end he gets was it Mirakuru or something? He gets some superpower thing, and he injects himself, and it's a fight for the whole city. That was really the And then season 3 is the Ra's al Ghul season, I think. And I also thought that was really cool. And that's when the Flash gets introduced, and there's a crossover episode, and it kind of felt oh, we're becoming the Avengers on TV or something. That was really cool. I enjoyed all that stuff. But yeah, season 4, that was when I stopped, because it felt like it was a big drop off where nothing was happening. And I remember Laurel died or something, and I was why are these characters? I mean, actually, I think there was something about Laurel dying. I don't remember if I liked it or I hated it, but something happened, and I was this is crazy. I don't know what's going on here. And there was what was the villain's name? Oliver something? Not Oliver, that's the main character. Was it Oliver as well? Damien Dark. He was a weird villain where he had magic or something, and I'm this is weird. Is magic in the show now? Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I think it kind of fell off after season 3, in my opinion. But also, now that I think about it in retrospect, I imagine the first few seasons probably weren't good either. Yeah. What else do I think about it? I liked Oliver. He was great. I liked Felicity. She was awesome. I liked Ra's al Ghul. He was awesome too. The physicality of him, I guess, the way he looked, I thought was really cool. What was his bodyguard? Not bodyguard. His chauffeur or something. The black guy. What was his name? He had a weird name, I think. I think he became the Green Lantern or something in the end. I don't know. Whatever his name was, it was strange. I was this is a weird name. Anyway, he was great. What else was there? Oh my god. Wow, what's her name? Ra's al Ghul's daughter. She's just the most beautiful person I've seen in my life. My god. Anyway, whatever. She's great. When I think of her also, what's her name? Now I have to find the name. Ra's al Ghul, daughter, Arrow. Nissa. What's the actor's name? Katrina Law. Anyway, she's too old for it now, obviously, but back when I saw her in Arrow, I was oh my god, she could play a great Azula. In a live action. She's too old for it, obviously, because Azula's meant to be younger, but I feel I see an Azula kind of presence here, Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but kind of the face shape or something. That's what I always thought when I saw her. I'm oh my god, if they ever do a live action thing, they should cast her as Azula. But anyway, that's the one thing I thought about. All right. Anyway, Arrow. So let me think. Overall, it's either B or C. It's probably C. Like I enjoyed watching it, but even now, like just thinking about it, how melodramatic it was and everything, it's not the best. But who knows? Maybe if I rewatch it, it will hold up, and I will put it in B tier. But for now, it's in C tier. All right. What was I up to? I remember not being able to get past the first 15. Oh yeah. How can you hate What If comedy and not like this comedy? Oh, and like this comedy. It's the same brand of comedy. You're wrong, but I'll have to come with examples next time to prove you're wrong, right? Arrow season 5 is so good, man. I don't even remember season. I mean, because I have seen a few of it afterwards, like in Blind Wave reaction videos, but I don't know. I could not keep track of what was happening through reaction videos. Arrow quality goes up and down so much it's insane. Wait, was season 5 actually good, or are you memeing? It was terrible. I don't know. I thought Arrow was British because it aired on TV. Oh, okay, that's pretty funny. You'd really like BBC Atlantis, Ari. I don't know about that. I think the BBC probably produces like the 3 BBC things I've seen, which is like Doctor Who, Sherlock, and Broadchurch are like the 3 really good things. So, I mean, is Broadchurch BBC? Maybe it's not BBC. I don't know, but they're all great. There isn't an ongoing plot, right? Like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer format where every episode is Monster of the Week, but but in the end, everything leads to the last episode with a big bad guy. For Arrow, yeah, that's definitely the thing. Every season has like an overarching plot, which I think is probably the best part of every season, right? But yeah, you kind of have to struggle through a bunch of like a lot of melodrama and lies and keeping secrets and all that to get to it. Yeah, that's every CW show. John Diggle, that's right, Diggle. I guess that's his last name, so fair enough. I thought that was his first name for some reason, but yeah. Season 5 is actually great. Watch the clip I linked. Interesting. What is this? Oliver confesses to Adrian. The name Adrian sounds familiar.
Confess, Oliver. You don't kill because you have to, so why? Why do you do it? Because I wanted to.
You wanted to?
I wanted to. I wanted to! And I liked it!
Oh my god, it's just like the Daredevil thing I was talking about in season 3. Oh my god. Alright. I mean, that looked good. I don't have an issue with that. Like, I don't know if Miller's linking this because it's like over the top acting or something. I thought it was really good. I like this guy. He's a great actor, at least from what I've seen in Arrow. Peak. True. Yeah, that was really good. Alright. Anyway, next up, look at this. Only 14 shows to go. Ms. Marvel. Okay. I love Ms. Marvel. It's a story about like family. You know, you got all the different family characters. I love Ms. Marvel as a character. She's just basically a teenage girl who doesn't have confidence in herself and all that. So whenever I see stories like that, you know, I always love it. You know, we got Powder in Arcane. We got Ms. Marvel in Ms. Marvel. Or it's not even that she doesn't have confidence. It's kind of like she's just like an average teenager who like she's not like popular. She's not like really good at anything. I like her a lot. What can I even say? The style of the show is awesome. Like, how do I even describe the style? Like, when I think of the style of Ms. Marvel, I think of a scene where she was dancing throughout her house, and it was really good. So I don't know how to, I don't know how to say that in better words than that. I don't know. She's dancing in the house, and it was cool. So that's the vibe of Ms. Marvel. The only, like, this would definitely be an S tier show, but there is an overarching storyline to this that isn't too interesting, which is like this interdimensional like people. Yeah, I don't know. The overarching storyline isn't too interesting, but I like the character of Miss Marvel. Oh, I guess I didn't mention the it's a is it like Islam or something? Muslim? They're Muslim or something. And it's like you get to see like she lives in the interesting culture or whatever, where like part of her community is like is it her church or something? I don't know. It's cool. Like I like all the family and community stuff in the show. The only thing I don't really like is the overarching story, but this was a really good show. I liked Miss Marvel a lot. I'm very much looking forward to a season 2. Anyway. She's really like as compelling as Spider-Man. So good. I hope you're talking about Ms. Marvel. True, I agree. I think her and her dad, I think, are the standouts of that show. Her dad is also so great. Like, I think one of the best scenes in the show is like when those two are like sitting, are they outside her like bedroom or something, like on the rooftop or like a balcony or something, and she's like, oh, what does he say? He's like, "You are my little Ms. Marvel" or something. And it's like the way he delivers it is so sincere, and it's touching. You know, I like that a lot. That was great. Everything is great except the plot. Kind of, yeah, I would kind of agree with that. So convoluted. She has powers because of the bracelet, and she's a clandestine, and she's a mutant. Make up your mind. It's true. That is true. And the bracelet does time travel too. EX was cool. And again, I don't know why they do this, but again, we get the MCU formula where the second last episode is a special one, or maybe it's like the third last or something. I don't know, but she goes back in time, and we get to see the partition. I guess this show is also educational because I'd never heard of the partition until now, so that was kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, that's Miss Marvel, A-tier show. It's probably the best. It's up there with Loki season 1 as the best Marvel TV show, definitely. All right. Next up, we have True Detective season 1. So when this came out, whenever the hell this was, like 2013 or 14 or something, this was like regarded as like, oh, the most prestigious and the best show of all time, basically. I remember watching it. I think it was a bit too... I think I needed to pay more attention to this. Back then, my standard of a good show were things like Arrow and like action and mystery and stuff like that. I get True Detective is a mystery show, but it's a very mature mystery show. Like, it feels like it's slow paced. It focuses on like character monologues and yeah, it's a very different show to what I liked. I feel like if I were to watch this again, this might be like one of my favorite shows, like based on what I like now versus what I like back then. But in fairness, I've only seen season 1. I started watching season 2, but it didn't hook me, I guess. I watched like 2 episodes of it. The best thing about season 2 was the opening. The opening was so cool, like the song, but I think it's like an existing song that I don't think they made it for the show or anything. But yeah, my thoughts on the show, I think it's a tier show. Potentially it could be S tier if I remember it like better by rewatching it. But yeah, I remember the mystery was at least somewhat interesting. I did like the 2 characters. Like, I think one of them was called like Cole or something. Like, they had a cool relationship dynamic thing. I remember there was this really cool episode where it's like a one shot for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something. It felt like a really long time, where they're tracking someone as they're trying to hide from people. That was really cool. But yeah, I'm interested to watch this again now that I'm older and care about different things in stories, I guess. All right, now we have our next D tier show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This was boring. I don't think it has a single redeeming thing about it. I didn't like it from beginning to end. There was nothing good about it. I don't think I didn't watch the final episode. I actually, in fairness, I watched like the first like 2 minutes, and something like terrible happened, and I'm like, this is terrible. I can't watch this. So boring, lame. Don't like the characters. Don't like the story. Don't like anything. Bad show. All right. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is great, says Miller. Oh my god. Okay. What do you like about it? The characters? What's your favorite element of the show? John Walker is so good, man. No, I disagree. He was very boring. I don't know what to say. Boring. That's just my answer. But I can understand if you like the John Walker stuff, then you would like this. Oh. Everything is great except the villain. I wonder who ended up being the villain in the end. Wasn't John Walker the villain? What are you saying, Miller? I thought he was the villain. I guess there's the girl, right? The girl from Solo, right? Star Wars, a Solo story, or whatever they called it. Yeah. Isaiah Bradley stuff too. I don't even remember. I don't know who that is. The girl is the villain, true. Anyway, I guess the highlight of the show was when he killed that person or whatever with the shield. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I was like, oh, this is mildly interesting. Okay. 11 to go. Like, I want to finish this soon, all right? I got other things I want to do tonight, not just this. All right, hold on. Not on this stream, though, you know, after the stream. Next up, we have Dark. So this is a time travel show. Probably the best representation of time travel I've seen to date. And probably will ever see. I don't think a show will ever put this much effort into portraying time travel as Dark has. It's great. It's a mystery show. Does time travel well. I cried at the end. Like, they had some really emotional stuff right at the end. Dark... I can't spoil what happens, because the greatest thing Dark does is right at the end. It is the resolution to the mystery of Dark is the best thing Dark does. At one point I had like a script I wanted to write about it, but I don't know if I'll ever make that video. But how can I say this in a non-spoiling way? Let's think. It's kind of like this isn't really a spoiler. It's the power of love, all right, in the best way possible. I think it's really cool. Anyway, Dark is fantastic. It's definitely an A-tier show. I really like Dark. But goddamn, firstly, it's in German, all right? So you got to watch subtitles, and it's also incredibly complicated. So I was writing notes. I literally wrote notes and when I say write, I don't mean like the typical notes I write when I'm watching shows to be like, oh, I like this and I didn't like this. It was like notes of keeping track of literal details in the plot so I could follow on what was going. Like, I had my iPad in front of me and I was like writing it down. Like I was a Blind Wave crew member or something. It was crazy. I'm impressed the Blind Wave like actually reacted to it and kept up with the detail somehow. It was impressive. Yeah, it's insane. There's so many names and family names. It's all in German, so you gotta like pay attention to the subtitles and also like keep track of things. It's crazy. Yeah, if you like mystery and time travel, I mean, if you like time travel, like, there's no question. Like, watch Dark. How have you not seen Dark already? If you like mystery, Dark is also a pretty good mystery show. So yeah. Anyway. Next up, Black Sails, S tier, one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. It has the greatest monologues of anything I've ever seen. It has Captain Flint, which is one of the greatest characters I've ever seen. It has one of my favorite dynamics in Flint and Silver that I've ever seen. What else can I say? It gets better and better and better. It has... The visual effects are also impressive. Like, the ships look so good. Blackbeard is one of my favorite characters. The scene, which if you've seen the show, the Blackbeard scene is one of the most enthralling and evocative scenes I have seen in my life. There's so much. The ambiguity in the final episode. Black Sails is one of the greatest things that I've ever seen. Everyone should watch this. I don't like pirates, all right? In general, I don't like pirates. For the longest time, I didn't watch this because I was like, I don't want to watch pirates. Like, who cares? It's like pirates and Western stuff. Like, those are the two things I hate in stories. Don't not watch this because it has pirates and sounds lame. It is a fantastic piece of storytelling. Just watch it, all right? If there's one show out of all of these that I could recommend to anyone, it is absolutely Black Sails. So watch Black Sails, all right? Please go watch Black Sails. It's fantastic. And if you watch it, and you don't like it, you can blame me. You can be like, Ari, I don't like Black Sails. It's all your fault. And I'll happily take it because I would be shocked if you didn't like Black Sails. Black Sails is fantastic. All right. That's why I just wanted to rant about how much Black Sails is great, all right? Anyway. And I can speak with authority because I rewatched this, all right? So I've seen it twice. So believe me. Okay, anyway. Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. So this was the first like actual crossover show where it's like you have a bunch of different characters from the CW shows like The Flash and Arrow, and they're all coming together to like form a time travel related show basically. I only saw Season 1. I heard that the show takes a very different tone after after Season 1, which it becomes more like a lighthearted comedy kind of adventure show. But I never got to that stuff. I only saw Season 1, which is like this overarching, basically, superhero story where they're going back in time to do things, and there's like an overarching villain in Vandal Savage or something. I think it's his name, Vandal Savage. I'm kind of surprised by how many of these random names I remember from things I saw like 5 to 10 years ago, but Vandal Savage, I think. Which was a terrible villain, and he's like meant to be a threat, but I don't know why he's a threat. Like, he's immortal, but like, he's just a guy. Like, why can't you just kill him? I don't know, it was kind of weird. I didn't like Legends of Tomorrow. Is it D tier? No, it's probably not D tier. I think maybe it is D tier. I don't know if I can think of one redeeming thing about it. I like the cast. I guess the cast was good. It's probably D tier. Like, it's up there. I'd say it's comparable to She-Hulk, probably. It's not as bad as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but there wasn't too much fun, I guess, in season 1. And the villain I truly didn't like. I guess that's what I would say, yeah. Anyway. Legends of Tomorrow season 2 gets so much better. Feels like a different show after season 1. Yeah, that's what I've heard. And I've also seen, I watched the Blind Wave reaction to the George Lucas episode. I thought that was really funny. So if the show's like that, like time travel in a non-serious way, I thought that'd be really cool. But season 1 was nothing like that. Season 1 is so boring and dry. True, I agree with that. Yeah, that's basically my recollection of it. Yeah, yeah. I guess it is comparable to Defenders, but Defenders at least had some cool scenes. And I generally like the darker tone of Avengers to like the kind of tone of Legends of Tomorrow, I guess, for season 1. Anyway, going from Vandal Savage to Reverse Flash, Damien Dark, and Malcolm Merlyn teaming up. Oh my god. Miller, for like the last 5 years, Malcolm Merlyn had not crossed my mind. I cannot believe how did I not mention him when I talked about Arrow? You have no idea what you just did to me mentally. I had not thought of Malcolm Merlyn, Captain Jack Harkness. My god. That is like that's why I liked season 1 so much. I can't believe it. I was thinking, when I'm talking about Arrow, I'm like, what did I like about season 1 so much? It's absolutely Malcolm Merlyn. He was so great. You know, he gets bumped up a tier just for that. B tier for Arrow. God, he's so great. The dad of his friend and secretly a really good archer. And, oh, that's so cool. John Barrowman is just like the greatest. When anything is in, is great. You know, we're getting a Torchwood at some point. Did I not include Torchwood on here? I'll put Torchwood in here, right? Mentally, right? Yeah, anyway, it's great. What was I talking about? I had Legends of Tomorrow. Sorry, and I was reading your message as well. Oh, yeah, they're all teaming up. That would be cool. My god, Malcolm Merlyn. What a guy. Anyway. Okay. Now we have a HBO miniseries, The Night Of. So the premise of this is that someone gets murdered and someone goes to jail for it. And we follow the guy who's in jail. And it's like you never truly know, did he murder her? Did he not murder her? And it's kind of like a mystery, and it's also like a guy surviving in jail. It's like a commentary on the bad jail system in America or something. This was engaging. I'll put it in A tier as well. It's a HBO show, so like generally HBO shows are like, I don't think I've ever seen a bad HBO show. The only thing that would be closest would be like maybe Westworld, like some of the stuff in season 2, but also that wasn't very bad. Like it was like I put it in B tier. So yeah. Oh my god, where'd I put it? I put it in 8. Yeah, what was it? The Night Of. That's right. Yeah, it's like I guess you can probably tell by how many times I've said this, but I like mystery things. It was a good mystery thing. And yeah, probably the only prison, or one of the only prison stories I've seen. I thought it was done very well. Kind of felt stressful to see him in there. I'm like, oh my god, this poor guy is in jail and he gets like transformed by the experience, or I don't know. It was cool. Anyway. Well. Kyle Entertainment has returned. Black Sails at the top. Absolutely. Even though these aren't ordered, Black Sails is definitely an S tier. And I talked about how great it was. All right, Kyle? I told everyone that they should watch it. I recommended it. The greatest thing ever. Anyway. House of the Dragon only an A. Hey, I said that we'll see what happens in future seasons, all right? I said that the last episode of season 1 was the best episode, except for maybe the speech that Viserys gave. So we'll see where the rest of the seasons go. Maybe it'll be an S tier next time. You have a weak will, Ari. That's what you said. All right. House of the Dragon, solid C tier. That's crazy, Miller. That's crazy. Oh, sorry, just burping. I guess before I forget, since I don't have it here, Torchwood is also a show. It stars, it stars John Barrowman as the lead, as Jack Harkness. Torchwood is, I only remembered it because I've been watching Blind Wave reactions to it every now and then. Like whenever I like have dinner and I'm like, oh, let me sit in front of my computer and watch something. Let me watch a Torchwood reaction. Torchwood is it has a vibe to it. It's incredibly, it's weird. It's not like any other show I've seen. It's an ensemble cast where you have like basically you follow this small group of people who are called Torchwood, and they're like solving supernatural mysteries, and it's like basically it's a Doctor Who spin-off show. But it's a mature rated show. Like there's sex and drugs and violence and yeah, like it's a very mature show. But it's also really goofy, and it kind of falls into the same realm as Scorpion, where it's like sometimes it's so bad that it's really good. Like it becomes a parody of itself in a way. So anyway, that's Torchwood. But there's also, then you, after the first like 2 seasons, you get season 3, at least I think it's season 3, which is a little short self-contained story about, it's like a sci-fi thing where these things come down to Earth and they make the children, all the children on Earth like say the same thing or whatever. And it's a mystery, you know how much I love mysteries. And it's very dark as well. Like that season is one of the very dark, like one of the darkest sci-fi things I've seen. That was really good. Then the last season, I think they changed to like an American production or something, or rather than like the BBC or something. I don't know why. But then that season is like about a whole other like self-contained story arc about how like the premise of the show is that Jack Harkness, the main character, well, I guess Gwen is the main character, but Jack is basically immortal. And then in the last season, Jack is mortal and everyone else in the world is immortal. And like the premise is that like what happens to the world when no one can die and literally everyone is immortal. And it's not like they heal when they get, say you jump off a building and kill yourself. You won't like heal at the end when you fall off the building. You'll literally be a paralyzed person who is going to live for the rest of time paralyzed. I thought it was really cool. I know a lot of people don't like the last season, but I found it really fun. Yeah, I love it. And also, I have to mention this, but the Blind Wave reaction to the final episode is one of their best reactions. They got so mad at stuff that happened in that last episode. It was awesome. But yeah, not Sherlock, Jesus, I just read it here. Torchwood is probably like it's weird. Like, so Torchwood has some really great episodes. It also has some really bad episodes. So I'd probably put it in probably B, because I really like season 3 and 4. And there's a lot of good stuff in season 1. And the crossover stuff is so cool. Like, when you have Captain Jack like leave at the end of season 1 and then go join the Doctor on an adventure in Utopia and he comes back a changed man or whatever. I don't know, it's cool stuff. I like it a lot. Anyway. Viserys' speech isn't in the final episode, is it? No, it's just like some random episode in between. Or did I forget? No, did the 3-year-old have a monologue? What the hell are you talking about? 3-year-old in what? Did I mention a 3-year-old in Torchwood, or was I talking about something else before this? I don't know. Miller, House of the Dragon was the greatest show ever for 5 episodes. Oh, yeah, here we go. The Kyle Entertainment talking about. Then they got rid of the Australian girl and everything went to shit. Oh my god, I saw a random TikTok with her, where they showed her house. Like, it was weird. Like, they went in her house and they like showed her room and everything. I was like, this is weird. Why am I looking at it? Like, why are they showing us her house? But I don't know, it was kind of cool. She's like a normal person. You know, she's not like rich or anything. But I'm sure she has to be rich, right? Like after House of the Dragon. But no, she just lives in this like normal house. So I don't know. Anyway, she lives with her mum, I think. But then again, she's probably like 20 years old or something. So fair enough. Did you know that girl might be Supergirl? Her plus an adaptation of my favorite comic. Crazy. Interesting. Will she have to do an accent? She did an accent in House of the Dragon, right? I think. She's in some other show I saw an ad for one time. Crazy how that happens. The 3-year-old is named Viserys, you stupid idiot. Oh yeah, that's right. Thank God we have an expert of House of the Dragon here to correct me on these things. All right. Next up we have Andor. So this is a spin-off Star Wars series. It's a prequel to Rogue One. One of the main characters in, I guess, the secondary character in Rogue One, Cassian Andor. We follow his journey as it leads to the events of Andor eventually, probably at the end of season 2. This is a really good show. It's almost universally loved. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say that this show isn't good, or like even say that this is probably the best Star Wars that has ever come out, like TV show wise. It's, what can I say? It has like 3 or 4 mini arcs in the season. The prison story is probably my favorite. That stuff was really good. Like, I've rewatched that scene at the end like a few times where they're like, one way out, and they're cheering, and even the reveal at the end of that episode where it's like, I can't swim. It's like so crushing, and like, God, like it's unbelievable how that show got to be so good. Like, by all rights, like just some random character from a prequel of a movie of Star Wars is somehow like one of the best things Star Wars has ever done. It's crazy. And if you somehow are watching this video or like stream, I guess, and you're like, you know what, I want to watch what Ari recommends, then I absolutely recommend Andor. You don't have to know anything about Star Wars. Go watch it. It's an independent thing. It stands on its own or whatever. It's great. It's again A tier. I didn't mention the end. I guess the only weak thing is like the beginning of the season. Like it was okay. It was all building up to the eye or whatever, like when they're spinning around the planet with the stars or whatever. The build up to was a little bit like I wasn't too interested, but it built up to something really great. Yeah, and the stuff at the end as well with his mum, like quote unquote. I cried at that as well, so it got to me emotionally as well. Anyway. Name all her kids. I don't even know who has kids. I don't remember. Oh, wait, no, I remember. It all came back to me. So, blonde girl, Rhaenyra, she has some kids, and Alicent has some kids. So there you go. All right. Living and Dead. All right, I'm going to sleep. Make sure you watch train clips. I think I'm just leaving after this. All right, this has been a long stream. Jesus. All right, my voice is disappearing. Star Wars 3 doesn't love Andor. Oh, that's crazy. My God. Alita Ari be like, clips of train? What the hell are you talking about? I know what you're talking about. Did you know that the rebel lesbian girl? Who's the rebel lesbian girl? In Andor is the new Doctor Who companion in a season from now. The rebel lesbian girl. I don't even remember the rebel lesbian girl, but all right. And I also don't know how do you know who the next companion's going to be? We already got it. We just got a new companion, Miller. Oh my God. Cinta? Cinta Andor. Oh yeah, I remember her. She was like a spy or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess they were in love, weren't they, or something? Yeah, it's coming back to me. I remember this. All right, cool. If she's in Doctor Who, that's great, all right? Good for her. Good for us. All right. Oh my God, we're getting there, guys. Jesus Christ. I think the new companion is already leaving. Oh my God. But I love Ruby. She was awesome. She better not leave, all right? We need at least a season with her. Remember how, like, Jenna Coleman had, like, 4 seasons? That's crazy. Actually, how many did she have? She had 7, 8, 9, and 10. I guess she did have 4 seasons, didn't she? Oh, no, Bill was in 10. So 3 seasons. Okay, fair. All right. Hopefully it's like old Russell T Davies where the companion comes back a bunch. True, that would be awesome. God, it is like those early Doctor Who seasons. I was thinking how much of a tragedy is that we'll never get a show like that again. Like we'll never get the weird campy kind of practical like weird sets and like we'll never get that again because it's like we're in a different era of television where everything is like changed away from that kind of stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Like we'll never get the weird, like, dirty vibe of, like, Utopia. Like, the world of Utopia, like, in that spaceship and the outside conglomerations and stuff. I feel like we're never going to get that kind of stuff again. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what the next season is like. Anyway. Next up, Stranger Things. So this is you've heard of this. I don't know why I need to give an introduction. All right, season 1 was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I watched it all in one day, basically. It was like a nice binge thing. Season 2, also pretty good. I know a lot of people have an issue with it. They don't like the 11th sister or whatever. I thought it was good. Season 3? I don't even remember season 3. Anyone in the chat remember what happens in season 3? Oh, I do remember. It was the Billy storyline with Max and stuff. That was also pretty good. I like that. Good stuff. Or was that season 2? No, it couldn't be. I think it has to be season 3. Anyway, what I'm getting to is season 4 of Stranger Things is the best season of Stranger Things. Vecna is amazing. I like the actor. He had some speech he gave about like to Elle about time or something. It was really good, whatever that was. I've watched that a million times. I think, yeah, season 4 of Stranger Things makes Stranger Things great. I think season 4 is an S tier. The rest of the show is like A to B, depending on like what episode is happening, I guess. So I think I'll put it in A tier. I'm incredibly excited for the final season of Stranger Things whenever it happens, like 2026 or something. Yeah, I like it a lot. Anyway. Hopefully, I read that already. Stranger Things is so boring. True, I forgot Miller hates Stranger Things. I love characters who hate each other. Same, yeah, true. And break up after they get together. True, I love storylines like that. It's great. That's why I like the Arrowverse so much. I wonder if the new character for this season will die this time. Do you think there'll be a new character this season, Miller? Actually, it's the same season. It's going to be season 4, part 3, Miller. All right. Anyway. Watchmen. So, Watchmen is I think it's another HBO show. So based on a comic books of Watchmen, which I've seen the movie as well, and now I've seen the TV show. I think I watched the TV show before the movie, to be honest, I think. I definitely did, because I didn't know any of the characters. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh my god, that's Adrian. And like all these other characters anyway. Like when he's younger, anyway. This was really good. S tier. I need to rewatch this because it's been so long. I remember it being really really out of order in a really cool way. Dr. Manhattan was really cool in it. It just felt like it had it's a really distinct style to it. I liked all the Adrian scenes when he's like on some other planet or something, like on Jupiter or something. That was really cool. But the best thing in this show, like what I always rewatch from Watchmen all the time, I guess this is kind of a spoiler, so if you really care about Watchmen, then maybe like skip this, but I don't think it's too much of a spoiler. Actually, it's a major spoiler, but I want to say it, right? I've always wanted to express how much I love this, right? At the end of Watchmen season 1, actually, you know what? I'll leave it a bit vague. Someone dies at the end of Watchmen season 1, and an old man is basically talking to a loved one of the person who died, and he talks to her, and he's like, considering what he could do, he could have done more. And just like the way he says it, and it's kind of like, it's so true, but it's also sad that he died, and it's kind of like, you shouldn't probably be saying this in this moment, but it rings very true, where it's like this powerful man, he truly could have done more. And although we're mourning him now, his life wasn't like, he could have done much more good with his life. Yeah, and that got to me, and I'm like, man, that's so true. Yeah, that really, the end of this season, it truly did elevate Watchmen for me. Anyway. Better Call Saul, potentially my favorite live action show, potentially. I don't know, all of these ones here I think I like for very different reasons. What can I say? Breaking Bad was great, Better Call Saul is greater. You follow Saul Goodman, who's a lawyer, watch him do lawyery things. You got Kim Wexler, you got Lalo. Season 6 is probably the best season of television ever. Just in pure visual style and directing and storytelling, and basically in every regard, it's probably the best season of television ever. I'm trying to think, like, up here, what else is there that would be comparable? I guess Black Sails, probably, I'd say, I don't know, if I were to pick one, it'd be Black Sails or Better Call Saul is probably the best season of television ever, like season 6 versus like season 3 or 4 of Black Sails, I guess, I don't know, but it's really good. I don't know what to say. I like everything about it. It's like the most engaging story. I like the cold opens to every episode. Like they kind of do this cool thing at the beginning of most episodes where it's unique. It's not like they'll do something which is the same every time. They won't like cut forward in the future and go back or something. They'll do something unique. I don't know. I like it. Better Call Saul is great. Ahsoka, it's C tier. It had a lot of potential. They went to another galaxy. I hoped it would be more special, but it wasn't. Ezra's in it. Kind of cool. I liked him. He was probably the best part of the show. Ahsoka's kind of bland. I was expecting greater things from this show, but I should have known when I watched that first trailer and I was like, this could either be really good or really bad. It ended up being more on the bad end, but it was still okay, you know. It wasn't terrible. I still enjoyed watching it week to week, but my god, was it a disappointing venture into another galaxy. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if the new character... I read that already. How can you watch the show first? You're insane. Oh yeah, that is a good point. I'm assuming you're talking about Watchmen. Yeah, it's incredibly... I remember also being so confused because I didn't know any of the characters, but I still liked it. And it made it really cool when I was watching the actual movie, which is obviously still based on the comic book and is like a different continuity to the show. It was really cool seeing these young characters. I'm like, oh my god, I recognize these people from the movie. Anyway, I need to read Watchmen, man. It's so cool. True. What do you think of the movie? Have you seen the movie, Miller? Do you like it? I love the movie. Cool stuff. Actually, okay. I love the Adrian, Dr. Manhattan. I like all that element of the movie. I don't like the kind of slower scenes with the Batman guy, whatever he was, like him and his love story stuff. I wasn't like too interested in that. But other than that, all the other stuff in the movie was awesome. Movie is good, but very silly at points. Okay, interesting. All right. 2 left. And these are pretty easy to do, hopefully. So Game of Thrones. I basically agree with most other... Actually, no, you know what? I don't agree with most people, but I agree with like a very large majority of people, which is that basically everything besides the final season, I think, is an S tier. Final season is really bad. Incredibly disappointing. The wrap-up was... I don't know, it didn't land very well. The only thing I like about the wrap-up was Bran... I'm going to spoil Game of Thrones. If you're going to watch it, you should have seen it by now. Bran becoming king, I like that as a concept. I think that works very well. But other than that, there wasn't too much to like about that final season, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a shame, because if it wasn't for that last season, it would be S tier. I think it's still A tier. There's enough good scenes in it. Yeah, it's like the highs of Game of Thrones are really high. The lows of Game of Thrones are incredibly low. Like what I was saying, what I was saying to Miller before about like Doctor Who. Obviously has like 2 seasons I didn't watch because they were so bad. Well, I mean, in fairness, I don't know if they're bad. Like I guess I just didn't. They didn't appeal to me. But there's so many good episodes in that show. The problem is with Game of Thrones, it's a very similar thing with Game of Thrones, where there's like only 1 season I didn't like at all. But the rest of it, there's so many good episodes in Game of Thrones. But obviously the whole thing relies on the ending being good, because like I was obviously invested in the entire show, so I wanted to see how it was going to end, and the ending kind of makes all these things that have been set up previously not really be too interesting in retrospect. So yeah, wasn't for me. Yeah, the Batman ED story was bad. When you say ED, is that erectile dysfunction? Was that like an element of this movie? I don't even remember that. But yeah, I remember I wasn't too interested in this part of the story. You think season 7 is S tier? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love season 7. I think the major complaint I've seen about season 7 is that it rushes things. Obviously going to get like elitist people like who've read the books be like, oh, it's like fan fiction, you know, they're bringing all these characters together. I don't care about those people at all, right? I think they're dumb. Maybe you're one of them, Miller. I think you're dumb if you think that. I can understand the fast-paced kind of nature of it or whatever, but like that being a criticism, but it didn't bother me at all. I liked it a lot. Anyway, all right, it is erectile dysfunction. Interesting. Okay, damn. No wonder I found it boring. You know, I've already seen it in another show. Actually, I hadn't seen that show at that point. All right, I'm just making a funny joke. All right. Oh my god, we're done. After this last show, which is Legion. So this is another superhero show. I've seen season 1, and I think I've seen almost all of season 2. I don't think I've seen the last episode of season 2. I really, really, really like this show. Visually, it's really cool. This is it's not really a mystery. I guess it's kind of a mystery, but it's more so a psychological show where it's like you don't know what's truly happening. Like this unreliable narrator. Actually, it really just comes down to there is an unreliable narrator where it's like you don't know if what you're seeing is truly happening or not. And I really like that. It's visually, not visually, what's like a better word? Like the whole show itself is very stylish. But it's not just the visuals. It's the visuals and the music as well, I guess. Like the whole thing is just stylish. Like what I think about is there's a whole scene where they're in a mental asylum, but they're not really there. They're like symbolically there, like in like a mind palace kind of way they're there. And this guy, in order to save them, he's creating psychic music, and he's like doing these things and creating notes that are like floating in the sky. And it's kind of like, that's what I think of when I think of Legion. Like this interesting visuals to convey like some non-literal plot thing, you know? Like they're in a psychic place. We're going to show that by having these people be in a mental asylum, and we're going to like get them out of there by using music notes or something, you know? It's cool stuff like that. Season 2 took that to the next level. And that's also really cool. I liked it a lot. Now the problem is it's a very similar thing to what happened with Mr. Robot, where it had been too long since I'd seen season 1, and I didn't remember the details, and Legion is a show where you really want to know the details of like what's actually happening to like follow along with the plot. And it was like, oh, it's too long between seasons, and I couldn't remember them, so I just like I fell off kind of season 2. But this is definitely a show I intend to finish at some point. And I will, I guess, start from season 1 again. But God, there's so many good scenes in this. Like the music scene I talked about, the scene where David is like escaping, but it's like it's not him. It's like what did they call the King Farouk or whatever? Like the actual king is like escaping the prison or whatever, not prison, wherever he was held, and he's like snapping people out of existence and stuff. Like that was so cool. There's the scene where the demon, the King Farouk or whatever, is taken over David in his mind like area or whatever, where the girl is there with him, and he's singing the Rainbow Connection. But he's like singing it creepily because David is actually stuck inside the body and he actually can't control it. And it's like him singing this innocent song, but also like really creepily, like pointing to the bathroom because there's like a demonic creature in there. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool scenes. Like especially even say season 2, episode 1 or whatever, the dance scene where it's like these 3 psychic people are battling psychically. And if you want to represent that visually on screen, you show them like having a dance competition. Yeah, it's so cool. And even like in that scene, you got the, David's being powered up by like the electronic like psychic technology. So when he plugs in like the certain bit of that technology, David like gets really powerful in the dance scene, and like all the wind is blowing, and it's a really cool visual way of showing psychic abilities. So I guess that's really what I like about Legion. Legion's really good. I definitely want to go back and watch this. This is an A tier show. So yeah, that's it. We did it, everyone. The list of TV shows that are non-animated, not a kid show. This is it. Let me actually look at this. So, Better Call Saul, Black Sails, Sherlock, Chernobyl, The Umbrella Academy, Doctor Who, Breaking Bad, Black Mirror, and Watchmen. You know what? They're all adequately placed. I agree with all of these. All right. I guess that's it for the stream. Anything else I should be doing? I don't know. I watched the Bad Batch trailer and I did this thing, and this took way longer than I expected, and goddamn, I should have probably recorded this so then I could upload it, but you know what? I'll figure that out later. Oh god, now I'm out of water as well. Oh yeah, now we gotta submit our thing. Wait, and then see what Heath did. I don't know how that works. What the hell is this? Wait. TV shows I've seen, that's the thing. Created by Ari. We have 3 votes, so I'm assuming this is probably me, Miller, and Heath. So I'm assuming the colors are like how many people voted for what or something? Oh, okay, yeah. So for each show, it tells us what each person gave. So what do we agree on? So we all 3 of us gave Ahsoka a C. That's pretty funny. Wait, what about A? Is there S? Is there anything we all agree? Okay, 2 of us agree on Watchmen and Better Call Saul. True. What else? Black Mirror. Oh my god. Hell yeah. Breaking Bad. Hell yeah. Oh my god. A tier. WandaVision. Mandalorian. Ms. Marvel. Lost. What about D tier? Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. True. Actually, let me go through the D tiers. What is this? Someone thought She-Hulk. That's me, I guess. Rings of Power. That's crazy. Okay. The Defenders D tier. Interesting. One Piece live action. I wonder who did that, you know? You can see specific results at the bottom. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is great. All right, let's see what Heath gave here. So, oh, I can't believe you've seen Gotham. All right. B for Gotham. A for Lost. A for House of the Dragon. C for The Flash. B for Jessica Jones. C for The Umbrella Academy. Oh my goodness. C for The Punisher. Damn, Heath is brutal. S for The Last of Us. True. D for Defenders. That makes sense. Westworld B. Doctor Who S. True. Good job. The End of the Effing World S. Maybe I need to rewatch this, alright? Maybe it is S tier. Daredevil A. Black Mirror S. True. One Piece live action A. That's true. Well done, Heath. Well done. Arrow B. Ahsoka C, and Game of Thrones A. Okay. Now we have Miller. Loki B. That's very true. Moon Knight C. Look at us, we're agreeing on so much. Cosmos B. House of the Dragon C. That's wild. The Flash C. She-Hulk B. Jessica Jones B. Oh my goodness, you guys just hate those later seasons, don't you? I can tell. Rings of Power D. The Punisher C. Well, I can't believe you guys don't like the Punisher that much. Jesus. I thought it was universally loved, you know. Last of Us C. That's crazy as well. One Division A. Defender C. Westworld B. Doctor Who B. Mr. Robot B. How much of Mr. Robot have you seen, Miller? I wonder. Breaking Bad S. Daredevil B. Mandalorian A. One Piece D. The Book of Boba Fett D. Cowboy Bebop D. Oh my god. Arrow C. Ms. Marvel A. Falcon and the Winter Soldier A. That's probably his craziest opinion here. Legends of Tomorrow D. Andor S. True. Stranger Things C. That's also pretty crazy. Watchmen S. Better Call Saul S. I love it. Love to see it. Ahsoka C. Game of Thrones C. Okay, interesting. All right. I saw 3 seasons of Mr. Robot and forgot the entire show between each seasons. True. God. That's why I need to, when I watch it now, I need to binge the whole thing, right? All at once. All right. And Miller sent a clip. What the hell is this? What is this JoJo's laugh right here? My God. I think I've seen this character. I think I've liked a fan art of this on Twitter. I had no idea it was One Piece. Jesus, those eyes are terrifying. They're demonic. They look like a doll that's like in a living doll that's been converted from like a doll into a human or something. Oh my god. Crazy. I don't want to play this, right? I know One Piece, terrible. I probably shouldn't play any of this, right? I get blocked, but it's alright. My god. Why is she phasing in the ground? Or he. I don't know if this is a man or a woman. Anyway. The only stuff I remember about the Punisher was from Daredevil Season 2. True, that was good stuff. I saw you like the fan art. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I just like it. I like all this bunch of fan art. I'm always worried that I'm gonna like something that's it's an ironic, not ironic, but like I'm not gonna know the context for like some fandom that it's like a really like you shouldn't be liking this because it's like evil or something, and I'm liking it because I'm like, oh, that was a cute fan art. Like I'm always worried about that, you know. But I like it anyway. And that's another thing. I'm always worried that like because a lot of the fan art I like are in Japanese, like it's just Japanese artists, and I always like I don't read the message they put with it. And I'm always worried that they're going to say something like racist or something, and I'm going to have liked it because I didn't read the translation. I'm like, oh my god, someone's going to see that I like the racist tweet or something because I didn't read the translation. Anyway. But I have to like things anyway, because otherwise I lose this great fan art. What is this? Table stakes? Why are they promoting gambling? Terrible. We hate gambling here. What about the children? Oh no, now I'm going to get One Piece recommendations. Zoro. Oh, and Arrow recommendations. Moira. Oh, I remember Moira. Good. Oh, remember Oliver's stepdad or whatever? He was cool. What a cool guy. Walter or something, right? Jesus. Alright. Wouldn't it be crazy if there was a story with your favorite characters, Nami, Robin, and Perona? Is Perona this? Oh yeah, the Perona. Yeah, that would be cool. Hey, I don't know if I like Robin. I like Nami. Nami's I like her big cute black eyes, all right? We'll see. We'll see what I think about Robin when I get to her eventually. I think her design is cool. I like the Perona fan art. That was cool. I don't remember what it was, but I remember if I liked it, I liked it. Wait, let me see if I can go through my likes and find it. I like too many things. I don't think I'm going to find it. Alright, whatever. That's a problem for next time or later. Okay. And with that... Jesus. Thank God you're here, Miller, to tell me that I was muted for that like 5 seconds, because I probably would have gone the whole rest of the stream muted, and that would have been hilarious. All right. I guess that's that. So, I have 2 weeks left of my thesis. I'm actually less busy now because I've finished my literature review and my introduction, which only leaves the conclusion, actually integrating the 3 chapters to make it feel like it's telling a cohesive story, and then converting it into a nice, actually readable format, which requires getting all the references in place, which they are in text. They're all placed, but you need to format them into a bibliography. The problem is there's hundreds and hundreds of references, so it needs to be done automatically. So that's going to be a day or two alone just trying to do that. So what I'm trying to say is that I have a bit more free time because I've submitted most of my drafts to my supervisors, and they've only given minor corrections. So yeah, hopefully I can get a video out before I finish my thesis, you know, a nice scripted video. But anyway, that's that. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. I mean, what do you say if someone says you're welcome? I guess I say thanks. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to go and... Wait, what am I doing tonight? I guess I have time to gym. There's no Blind Wave video today because it's not Saturday, which is the only day that matters because that's when Jujutsu Kaisen comes out. I should watch Black Lagoon. I guess I could watch a movie tonight. You know, I could watch This Is England tonight. I almost certainly won't. There's too many movies that I have to like watch urgently. Oh yeah, I also updated this a little bit. I'm going to work on this website now that I have a bit of time as well. I just made the formatting a little bit better, but it's actually not much better at all now that I look at it. But anyway, it's a work in progress, all right? We're going to knock off so many of these when I finish my PhD. It's going to be non-existent. Then people are going to have to become my YouTube member to vote for things. It's going to be great. Black Lagoon, this will be off here at some point. Spirited Away. Someone suggested I watch Howl's Moving Castle. So that's probably the top of my priority list for Studio Ghibli movies. Oh, forgot that opens my YouTube channel. I feel like I was saying something before this. Oh yeah, the video is coming out eventually. Anyway, okay. Vinland Saga was peak today? Wait, Vinland Saga came out? Is that what Bacon was messaging me about before this? Oh, I think it was. At the beginning of the stream, I got a notification. I was like, why is Bacon messaging me? Okay, yeah, I should probably read that then. Okay. Will you unpatron after JJK? The only reason I would ever unpatron from Blind Wave is the fact that I don't have an income. I think I love Blind Wave. I support them in anything that they would do. They have provided me with uncountable hours of happy times in my life. If they had an issue come up and I could be the only one to help them, I would help them, Miller. So to answer that, it would depend. Depends when they finish. If I have a job by then where I can actually afford to like support them, then I would. But if I don't, then probably not, because I literally am not watching anything else. I think I'm watching what is the actual list? Let me get it up before I leave quickly. Every now and then they put a movie out that I watch, which is always good, but like not really, not often. All right, let's see. So I am watching. They brought What If out, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it because I'm like, this is going to be boring. But you know what? Maybe I will watch that. Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah, that's it. And you know what? Every now and then they put a movie out, you know? And I'll watch the movie. Anyway, it is what it is. What if you read comics tonight? Yeah, it's true, I could. I could read Supergirl, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I could also read Bloom Into You, blah, blah, blah. Or I could actually read Jujutsu Kaisen like I meant to be, you know? Excuse me. Did you move to website subscription or stay on Patreon? I just stayed on Patreon because I don't trust their website to I have no idea how they manage that payment system. I would not trust them, but I trust Patreon, so I'm going to keep it there. Why do you Patreon Blind Wave but not buy Doctor Who, Black Sails, and Better Call Saul Blu-rays? Surely they deserve your money more. It's not even comparable. Like, the number of hours that, like, Better Call Saul provided me with, what, like, 100 hours of, like, entertainment? Maybe? Probably not, right? Nowhere near 100, now that I think about it. There's, like, what, 60 episodes, each an hour long? Probably, like, 60 hours? Blind Wave is, like, for the past, what, like, 9 years? 8 years? Something like that? I've watched a video, like, basically every day until, like, maybe this year, recently. Yeah, I don't know. And also the fact that, like, Better Call Saul and all, like, those big production things, they're backed by, like, millions and millions of dollars. Like, they're not going anywhere. Blind Wave truly does rely on the audience that watches them. Like, they don't have big investors or, like, any insurances. If they got into a controversy or something, like, everyone could turn on them and they could go bankrupt, no problem. Like, they don't have any big investments like that. Like, I truly do want to support them. Like, if there weren't people who are willing to support them in a small amount, like me, as an example, whatever, they wouldn't exist. And I want them to exist as, like, a thing. Like I really, they rely on people like me, I guess. I don't know. That's what I would say. Not like me, like people in their audience. You never know. Maybe One Piece live action wins the next poll. True. I forgot. Yeah, I did vote for a few things like that. True. They always get me like that, you know? I'm like, oh, there's going to be nothing this month. And then they watch Mob Psycho. Maybe they'll pick up Vinland Saga next month, you know, and I'll have to watch that. Is Blind Wave entertaining without the shows they watch, though? They're only like half the entertainment. They're definitely entertaining without the shows. Like, if they did, like, 2 podcasts a week, like, I think that's good enough for me. Like, even if they stopped reacting to things. Like, I guess right now, I'm not really even watching them at all, so I don't know. We'll see. You know, eventually at some point, they'll have not done it. Like, I'll have not interacted with them enough that I'm like, I don't really care about them anymore. Like, I'll stop supporting them or whatever. But for now, you know, I'll support them. Unless they go into that damn writer's strike again and then decide to side with the writers over their audience, then maybe they'll have some problems with me. They'll finish season 2 before Film Buff in that case. True, they finished Attack on Titan before Film Buff. That was crazy. But yeah, anyway. Okay. Enough of this, all right? I need to go. That's all right, I'll listen to things I'm going to do. Anyway, he's just hooked on Hunter x Hunter, Lamau. Yeah, true. Oh my god. He did the, he's like right at the end of the Phantom Troop arc. I'm wondering, this is going to be an interesting thing to find out, you know, in the next few years when he finally gets to it. Is he going to be one of the sane people with an actual brain and a high IQ that realize that obviously the Chimera Ant arc is like the superior arc and the best arc in all of Hunter x Hunter? Or is he going to be one of those small brain, tiny people who don't understand anything and think that the York New arc is like better? Like, I wonder. I'm just interested to see what he thinks. But who knows? That's like what, 50 episodes away? That's like at least a year from now. So we'll see. God, I hate Alexander. Wait, what isn't he on my side? Doesn't he like the Chimera Ant arc? I actually don't remember. Yeah. Anyway. Enough of this. I have to get going, you know? As they say. There's a new Kaiju number 8, is what my phone tells me. And of course, there's Blind Wave Patreon rewards on my phone. But with that, I don't have a sign-off yet. I still haven't thought of one after all these streams. Where's my stop streaming button? Okay. See you. Wait, no. Thanks for coming. I'll probably upload that as a video. Maybe I'll do it in 2 parts like Blind Wave or something. I don't know. Probably not.